Okay, happy Tuesday, everybody. How are you doing, Future Shark? Are you okay?
Yes, I'm good, True Spoon. How are you? Happy Tuesday
Yeah, I'm pretty
evening.
cool, man. It's a pretty nice day. I mean, we're it's no secret we're in London, and it's been sort of a funny sort of day, hasn't it? I mean, every day now it's sort of really cloudy and damp in the morning, and when they're done chemtrailing and spraying or whatever, but then you get a nice sort of from 1 or 2 o'clock onwards, you get a nice sort of sunny days. And it's quite a nice sort of evening now, isn't it? Saying it's 8:15, it's quite a nice bright evening.
I remember going out, I think it was Sunday or maybe Saturday, I can't remember. This last week has been a little bit of a blur considering it's been my birthday week, but there was one day where it was just hammering it down all day, and I was just like waiting for it to stop because I wanted to actually get out of the house. And I just thought to myself, do you know what? Fuck this. I'm just going to go out. It was still raining. As soon as I walked out the door, the universe obviously blessed me because the whole skies parted, the rain stopped, and the sun came out, which was mildly annoying because I didn't take my sunglasses with me, which I should have. You should know, shouldn't you? Like everyone kind of jokes in England, isn't it? Like you just take everything. You take your umbrella, you take your sunglasses, take your raincoat, you take your shorts, take everything. You don't know what you're going to get.
Man, I'm always in my sunglasses because whenever I leave the house, the sun starts shining. It's just sort of one of those things. So I'm always in sunglasses because I know the sun's just going to come out when I walk out the door.
Your avatar is the sun, obviously.
There you go, man. It is. I've got the spirit of the sun in me, but it's just uncanny and weird. It's just one of those things. But yeah, we've both had a pretty chill week, haven't we? Because I'm just kind of chilling out and doing projects, and you've had a birthday week off, which I love that idea. It's like how I think in South America and some Middle Eastern countries, they celebrate weddings for a whole week at great expense. But you celebrate your birthday for the whole week, right? I love that idea.
And at great expense as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
So that might make me rethink it next year, unless I'm a trillionaire next year. Then it will be perhaps like a year of birthday celebrations. But yeah, no, it's all good, man. It's all good, man. You spend a bit of money, that's fine. It's your birthday. It's only once a year, innit? So give it a good bash. Chuck your nuts and bolts at it,
Yeah, is that a Yorkshire expression? Chuck your nuts and bolts at it.
I don't know. I heard it sometime. One of my favorite DJs did it one time, and I was kind of like,
"You chuck your nuts and bolts at it." Right? Okay, that's a good one.
But yes, there's quite a few things to get through today, isn't there? I mean, I wasn't even aware when we were just backstage then about the proliferance of earthquakes at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's right. I mean, we're doing sort of end of the world watch. Sort of a service for everyone out there.
Really. Thing that we're doing at the moment.
Yeah, end of the world watch. Thank God we're here for another week to actually to provide end of the world watch. But unfortunately, 1 week we might not be here because it would be the end of the world and we wouldn't be able to broadcast. But on a serious note, earthquake watch, 9th of June. As you can see, the screen has been a lot of activity, and as we explained before, it's a result of the solar activity. We're at the solar cycle 25. It's the peak of the 11-year cycle. High sunspot numbers, coronal mass injections, solar flares, M-class solar flares. The sun has calmed down significantly, but there's still activity in the center of the Earth, and there are some very interesting theories about what actually causes earthquakes. And I've looked into some research from a guy called Stefan. Yeah, I'm not that prepared. Stefan Burns, and he's got an amazing theory about what causes earthquakes. Apart from the solar activity, there's something going on in the center of the Earth. But here we can see magnitude 6.3. South America has been racked with earthquakes lately. I don't know if I don't watch the TV. I'm not really exposed to any mainstream media. I don't know if you check out any telly. Future Shock. Have you heard?
Do they have a telly, to be honest with
would they tell you it was the end of the world on BBC News, or would they just sort of pacify you with EastEnders until the fucking Earth opened up and swallowed you whole? You know what I mean?
I think I've not been to the BBC website right now, but I guess if you go to that website, I bet you there's nothing there about any of this. In fact, they have a little my screen. Oh no, there's nothing. No, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we're not fear mongering. We don't monger fear. You know, we don't monger anything. Hopefully, we're not
I think
monger.
kind of one of the ironic thing is, if I was just going to say quickly, one of the ironic thing is that we do get a lot of fear mongering from people who are climate change activists, obviously talking about different kinds of things. But when you have very real, tangible, provable, measurable things
that are actually happening right now, yeah,
no one wants to mention it.
1 hour ago, Utah's a big issue. I don't know where Yellowstone Park is. Researchers on Utah's big earthquakes, but it's all caused by solar activity. And the solar wind is interacting with things in the center of the Earth, which we'll go into later. But it's very interesting. And Stefan Burns, I'll see if I can.
He's Wyoming, isn't it? Yellowstone Park is in Montana, Wyoming, isn't it? Montana.
Yeah, you might be right. Is so yeah, his latest video, this Stefan Burns, is that displaying? No, it isn't. You have to click so many times to get anything to come out. His latest is the there's lots of things been happening. So yeah, can you see that? I don't know if Stefan's going to slap me with a copyright. Can you hear this?
Stefan Burns here with an update on that earthquake swarm that's occurring in Idaho near Stanley. This is pretty close to Boise. This earthquake swarm has been going off for more than a couple of
weeks. This is for discussion and analysis, and within the context of our research, this is fair use, YouTube. So don't bum me on this one.
Weeks now, and has been accelerating near the end of May and into June. So we've been having more earthquakes and higher magnitude earthquakes. Well, we just had a new magnitude 4.3 earthquake strike just nearby. And the strongest earthquakes in this swarm have been magnitude 4. So a pretty big jump to go to a 4.3 due to how earthquake energy scales. And this is near Clayton. That was at 1700 Universal Time yesterday, June 8th. And well, you see that we are inching closer and closer to Yellowstone supervolcano, a massive supervolcano located directly in the middle of the North American continent. And so,
anyway, so that's basically the gist of what he's just reporting the facts. But he has a very interesting theory about what causes earthquakes, and I'm hopefully going to try to share that. But gosh, bloody hell, StreamYard is so fiddly when you try and share anything. Gosh, I don't know. I don't know if we should move to another platform, Future Shock, honestly. I mean, I don't know if you've ever got behind the wheel of StreamYard. Do you use StreamYard?
Yeah, I use StreamYard when I do my football stuff, and yeah, I do share quite a lot. It can be a little bit fiddly, but
absolutely flipping fiddly. I'm kind of tired of it, man. I'm tired of fiddling. I'm fiddling my head off here, man.
Fiddling as much as you're tumbling at the moment, isn't it?
Fiddling and tumbling, man.
So what he's saying is interesting, though. I didn't realize, kind of like, and obviously, I'm sure you're going to get into his underlying theory in a second. But
I am.
The idea that, from what we just saw then, is worrying enough in itself that they're inching towards Yellowstone. I mean, I don't know what level, what level would trigger it, but I'm guessing if they got a big one, then that's a problem.
Yeah, this is what I'm getting to. I mean, I would report his theory, but it's his own theory, and it's absolutely fascinating. Let's see
their explosion underground, because we found veins of enriched uranium.
Here we go. This is wonderful. This is fascinating. It's really worth listening to.
Hey, everyone.
I think no one's heard this before, but this is what he believes is the actual cause of earthquakes.
Geophysicist Stefan Burns here. We have a complex story to talk about today, a sequence of events which I find really interesting, a little concerning. This is a special report. We're going to go into a lot of different things. A lot of stuff that you've never heard before, probably anywhere else. I would like to be corrected on that, but in my own search across a variety of domains, I've never read anything about this.
Oh, let's just pause for a second. Have you just be quiet, Steph, please? Have you heard about the doomsday fish? Did you see that? Do you know about the so-called oarfish? Have you heard about those guys?
No.
The oarfish are these really long fishes, and I can show. Let's get a picture of one. I'll just get a picture. They're probably connected to the myth of the sea serpent.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Look, I've just got it. I'm on my Google image now, looking at them.
Can you share that, or because it's a race to share things? Really, I'm trying to.
I can't.
Yeah,
share,
I think
hopefully
I
can share.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got a picture of here exactly. I've got one. Yeah, share this tab instead. Okay, this might work. Yeah, is that coming up on the screen? Oh, this is quite a nice article.
I know. I think I can offer you one, can't I? And you can share or not, sort of thing.
I got it. Here we go. This is an so-called oarfish, and they're connected with the myth of the sea serpent. They apparently only really exist at really low depths, but whenever they're sick or dying, they apparently rise to the surface. And they can be spotted by sailors, and they've been spotted through history. In fact, this article seems to do all the job for me. So they have large eyes, a small mouth, no teeth. Blah, blah, blah. Today's sailors, seafarers, tell a good story. What's this? We lifted its head so high, it seemed to be higher than the crow's nest. So in 1733, there's a report of this sort of sea serpent rising out of the sea, because I mean they're all muscle. Can you imagine a thing of that size? You know what I mean? It could literally stand up and be higher than a boat. Can you imagine? You see what I mean? If it just sort of flexes its like lower muscles, raises itself out of the water, it would tower over the seafarers. So there's these myths and stories of this great sea serpent, but the thing is, they only dwell at really low depths. But lately, they've been washing up. And that's a bad sign, because when these things are killed, it's a sign that there's some deep disturbance, there's some deep currents in the oceans. And they washed up after Fukushima. There was lots of them in California on the west coast of America washing up. And it was disturbing because no one had ever seen them before. And you're not supposed to see them. But they've been washing up lately. I don't know how many have been found lately, but lots of oarfish have been found washed up, and it's a sign that something bad is going on in the oceans. Look at this. I can just share this as well. I've got some news articles. You can see that. That's pretty cool. So deep abyss, oarfish keep it's Stefan Burns, but yeah, he seems to be on the ball. 9 foot. Discovered washed ashore. That was in 2024, but that's 2024 is still within this solar cycle. Rarely seen meters-long doomsday oarfish. They may be talking about the same fish, but Mexican beach, Mexico, California 4 days ago. That's pretty fucked up, and I try not to swear on air. I imagine my mum is listening. She'd disapprove, but it is fucked up. These things are washing up.
That there's some kind of seismic activity going on.
That's it, bro.
That's
there you go. Exactly. Something's going on in the oceans, and nobody knows what. But Stefan Burns, he has an idea. Let's get back to this video because he's here we go. Let's get back to Stefan Burns and his theory about what's going on. It's very, very interesting. I have to fiddle again with bloody StreamYard to get it on. You know what I mean? When you're doing something and you click once and you think once should be enough, but then you find you have to click something. Fuck off! I had that with Google when you were trying to send me the titles and the intro, and I was like, okay, I'm clicked once to download, and then Google says, "Oh, are you sure you want to do that? I'm your nanny."
Do you have permission to do that?
I'm not enough to do the internet. I don't think you know what you're doing. Fuck off, Google. Never used to be like that, but everything's for children now. It's all like we're all children. But anyway, I'm going to stop ranting and let this Stefan Burns, this guy who knows a lot more about these things than I do, tell the tale. Here we go. Go on, Stefan.
First off, an oarfish that washed up on the western shore of Tasmania today. And this is just kind of an interesting thing. They don't come up that often. They're deep sea creatures. They're way out at ocean. They usually aren't close to shore. They can get enormously large. They're the largest bony fish that we know of in terms of their length. And a lot of different cultures believe that these fish washing up is a sign of some disaster or event. They're known as doomsday fish.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a interesting kind of correlation with them and earthquakes. We've also today had some really significant activity in the Schumann resonances, as you can see here. And so this is very bizarre. This is a very unusual signature for the Schumann resonances. We're going to talk about what that could be. We did have a geomagnetic storm active at that moment in time. So it could be related to that. But there was also a traveling ionospheric disturbance off the western coast of Australia and Tasmania, a little bit closer to Africa, but still pretty close by. And that was at a magnetically conjugate point to Tomsk.
What did you mean by Schumann, or whatever he said? Sorry. Hello, have we lost? Am I the only one talking now? What's going on? Something's happened.
Oh, I'm here, bro. I'm all right. Don't worry. Everything's okay, right? Can you hear me, bro?
Everything's fine. Good.
I just muted myself for the thing there. Okay, so the Schumann resonance, it's a sort of a low frequency electromagnetic wave that occurs within the Earth's atmosphere. It's generated by lightning strikes and the solar activity. It creates a sort of global electromagnetic field, and it's the prominent peak is about 7.83 hertz. It's like the heartbeat of the Earth, right. And it affects us all. I mean, we've all had this 7.83 hertz drumming. It's like, drumming into us. Just I don't know. It's almost beyond. It's beyond my understanding. I'll be honest with you. I think it's beyond anyone's understanding, actually, how this affects us, and the implications of the Schumann resonance. I mean, it's guesswork, really. Do you know what I mean? When we talk about it, we can just sort of we can extrapolate.
7.83 hertz is not like
it's very low frequency, isn't it? It's extremely low. But then low frequency waves travel very, 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 very far, don't they? They have like low amplitude, but they're sort of pervasive. Whereas high frequency sort of diminishes, doesn't it? And very quickly. It's low energy, but very long traveling, long distance.
Oh yeah, this is why the Earth generally will be giving off very low level frequencies and anything that's of any kind of size like that. Yeah, I mean. That said, also, like, you have to remember, a lot of the frequencies we can't even hear anyway. So,
I was just going to ask you, as a sound guy, what would 7.83 hertz sound like?
Nothing. Like, you wouldn't
hear it, would you? No.
I mean, put it this way: most tracks, when you master a track, so for those that don't know what I mean by mastering is essentially when a track is made, it then goes to a mastering engineer who puts a kind of a gloss on it to kind of enhance it as much as possible. And what mastering engineers tend to do is cut out the frequency ranges below 25 hertz. So obviously 7.83 isn't even included in most or any tracks that you will ever hear, to be honest with you. So it's so low. I presume that it's the sort of sound which is made by something that is gigantic rather than a smaller sound emission like you would get from a song or something like that. It would need to be something of significant size, like a planet, etc., that would have a frequency of that range. But you wouldn't. The human ear can't detect it. It's not really possible to detect.
No, the human ear wouldn't detect it, but sort of like I'm only sort of theorizing that sort of the other sort of your body, your sort of your cells, and your your DNA. I mean, it's going to be pervasive and sort of, if that's a constant sort of thing, like a heartbeat. I mean, you think about your ear. I mean, it's quite a crude instrument, no disrespect to our divine creator, but like, it's just like it's like a microphone. It's like a sort of, it works like a sort of, like a microphone. It works like, I can't think of the word I'm looking for.
It's sort of an amplifier in a way.
well, like
Did I lose you then? Are you still talking? I am not sure if you are still there or not, but basically, yeah, I mean, the ear kind of acts a little bit like an amplifier of sound.
it detects sounds. It's like a membrane. That's what I'm looking for. It's a membrane. So like microphones and speakers are all membrane based, aren't they? And it's kind of crude in a way. It's like not sophisticated. And the ear is fantastic, but it's not high. It's not digital technology. It's like it's analog technology. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very analog. I mean, it's made with
very analog. Yeah.
It's made with tiny little bones and like sort of fluid filled little spirally things, and it's an early days attempt at hearing sound. So yeah.
I mean, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, have we really finished evolution? I don't think so. I mean, we've got all our technology and stuff, but like, I mean, wow. I mean, like God created this sort of analog membrane technology, like a microphone speaker combination for our ear holes. And what possible in a million years would we possibly evolve some kind of where we could detect these other resonances, basically, because the frequency range we can listen to is very, very, it's very limited indeed. What is the frequency range the human ear can detect?
20 to 20,000.
Gosh, that's quite high. That 20 hertz to 20,000. No.
Yeah.
That's 20 hertz.
Yeah.
That's. Well, then this human resonance at 7. What was it? 7.7. I've just found another thing here. These resonances fall with an extremely low frequency between 7 and 50 hertz, and peaks at 8 hertz. So the ear can detect frequencies of what?
It goes up to 20,000 hertz. Yeah.
From
20 to 20,000. So obviously, like.
Well, that's actually. Gosh, that's incredible. I just fact checked you. Gosh, that is incredible. I mean, I'm allowed about the analog technology. That is a good range. I mean, gosh, that is quite a good range. 20 to 20,000 range. What does 20 hertz sound like?
20 hertz is just it's just like super, super low bass. It's like sub bass.
Yeah, because you like made that really. You must live in that frequency as a DMB guy, right?
So basically, essentially what you do a lot of the time when you're making something like drum and bass, or even kind of like house music, bassy music, is you'll have like a separate sine wave that sits underneath the rest of the bass. So that sine wave will typically go up to about like 60, sometimes 60, 70 hertz. It depends on the producer. Sometimes even 40 hertz. But yeah. You'll just have a very simple. It's obviously a very simple tone. It's just a very simple, very low bassy tone. If I was just to sort of like play a track of mine and just like get an equalizer and take out everything from 20,000 hertz all the way down,
Edward,
you just hear like, that's all you.
You know what, bro? You know what? You should do a track called Schumann's resonance, or the Schumann, I don't know, something about the Schumann resonance, but like focus on those low, try and replicate what you think the earth frequency sounds like. I don't know, but I mean that would be
it could be quite. We could play it on the show, and it could be quite successful because the last time we played 13 minutes of silence, which it pretty much would be silence.
No, we had an impromptu Quaker meeting. That's what we.
But yeah, the last time we did that, all our listeners kind of shut up. So that was interesting.
I guess if we just shut up, we might get people listening, because I don't know. I think it's when we're talking that we drive people away, man. I don't know. But listen, I love hearing about things I don't understand and don't know anything about. I love it when you talk about like your DMB and frequency stuff, because I don't really know anything about it. And I'm just fascinated by that, But yes, the point is though, if we can hear frequencies from 20 hertz. And the Schumann resonance, is at 7.8 hertz. It's not that far off, is it? It's like, it's almost like
when you get down to that level. I will say though, when you get down to that level, it's borderline. It's more you feel it. So anything that goes below, roughly speaking, let's say 40 hertz down 35, 30, 25. You would need, like, for a start, you would need to play it on a huge set of speakers to actually be able to. It's not something you'd ever be able to hear through your laptop.
You would just hear the air move or something. You'd like hear it. Perhaps.
You feel the air move. Yeah.
So cool.
There's a producer who I'll shout out if people are interested in D&B and bass music. He's called Dillinger, and he's one of the most famous drum and bass producers. And he had a Valve sound system. He had his own sound system called the Valve Sound System, which specializes in these low frequencies. And you go to Valve Sound System events, and it's all super, super low frequency, as well as high frequencies as well. But the emphasis is on really bringing out those low frequencies.
That's awesome. That is cool. And those the effect that they might have on you, I don't know, emotionally or whatever, even spiritually. I don't know, but oh my God, who's been knighted? Sadiq Khan has been knighted. How disgusting! God, I've got.
Is that some new breaking news that we've just?
Yeah, it's in X. Lee Hurst, another stabbing in London.
That did happen a little while ago, didn't it? Now I think about it, I remember being irritated by the news. Yeah, a little bit. That happened a while ago, I think. It is hard to believe, isn't it?
It's very easy to be irritated by the news. I just avoid it. I mean, even people I follow on X. Whenever I go into X, I just see some nonsense kind of man woman beating up a woman and football game, and I'm like, oh, I almost want to unfollow all the people I like because I'm just so sick of these. It just makes me kind of angry, I was like, angry. I don't like being angry. Do you know what I mean? I want to be happy, but I think that's what they're just trying to do to us. They're just trying to piss us off. That's the game, really. It's just like, right, you're on planet Earth. We're in control. We're evil. We're Luciferian. We hate humanity. We hate God. You're the children of God, and we're going to spend your lifetime trying to piss you off and make you unhappy. Right? That's the game. And I'm trying to say, fuck you. I'm going to be happy. I'm not playing your misery game. I'm not getting sucked in.
It would not surprise me.
Evil situations you're creating day by day.
I'll tell you a little story about like knighthoods and going to the palace to get that in just 1 second, because my dad hasn't been knighted, but he got the OBE, so we all got to go. He was actually my first. He was my first. Oh, wow. You know what he got the OBE for as well? Possibly one of the worst things you could get the OBE for is like services to the Inland Revenue. Which in some respects,
oh God, he's a tax collector. Well, Jesus made friends with the tax collectors, so he's not beyond redemption.
So we went there in I don't know what year it was. It was a long time ago. It was the late 90s, I believe. Actually, it was my first ever trip to London. They put us up in like a Hyde Park hotel, and it was all very plush and amazing and stuff, really, for me as a youngster at the time. But they take you into the palace, and like that place is like, they didn't exactly take us down the nicest bit. You might have thought they would take us to somewhere that was a bit kind of like nice looking, but it was just a mess. They took us down all these corridors, like the relatives and stuff, we all had to sit there.
Yeah,
they took us down. There's just paintings everywhere.
Book Palace, yeah.
This is Buckingham Palace. There's like paintings all over the floor. There was no effort to take us anywhere that actually looked particularly aesthetically pleasing or like a palace in any way. And then, obviously you go into this massive room and you have to sit through literally about 600 other people getting either MBEs, OBEs, CBs, and knighthoods until you obviously get to my dad who got his OBE off Charlie Boy. It wasn't even off the Queen at the time, so
that's quite recent then, right?
And cool. It was hot as fucking there, man.
It was hot. Yeah, I mean, I don't like Charlie Boy. If it was me and him, I'd just say, I don't know. We'd have a bit of a set too. I'd have a go at him. But anyway, the Queen, however, I respected her, But Charlie, no, don't put me in the room with him. There's going to be trouble. You know what I mean?
My dad and mum, we were disappointed. Well, I mean, I was kind of a kid and didn't really care that much, but like my dad was a bit disappointed that it was Charlie Boy and not the Queen.
Yeah. But this was when the Queen was still alive, though. Yeah, so she delegated.
Like the late 90s.
Gosh.
So because remember, I moved to London.
Just say no. We want the boss. We don't want the lackey. Fuck off, Charlie. Fuck off, Charlie. We want the gaff. We want the gaffer. We want the real gaffer. Just wait. I'm not going until the fucking Queen gives me my medal.
But yeah,
but still, I mean, you met. So basically, you met the King of England, basically, one way or another, right?
It was yeah, the future king, yeah. And honestly, it was boring as hell. It was quite fun to come to London, though, I must say, because I'd never been before. So
you were a young lad then, and all that. Then you were young.
And it was all very typical, like movie style, because like we'd go to London and we were in Hyde Park, and they put you in the nice like 4-star hotel and everything, and you
get 4-star. They give you 4 stars. They can't quite stretch to 5 for the players.
They wouldn't stretch to 5. I don't know if the Knights got 5s. Maybe the Knights.
Yeah, maybe. That's why they do it. That's their own motivation for their fucking painstaking charity work, just so they get that extra night at the Ritz or something,
Yeah, and to me as a little kid, I'm just wandering around sort of oblivious to sort of like, it's just sort of like being in a movie sort of thing, isn't it? Like I was only, 15?
Cool. That's a good story, man. Wow.
So I didn't realize that he'd be, so yeah, it's almost like they're knighting Sadiq Khan on purpose to troll us, isn't it?
I know, man, I know. Well, that's it. They're just doing it to piss you off. It's like, yeah, we are Satan's minions. We are here just to try and ruin your fucking nice time on earth, children of God. And it's like, do you fall for it? Do you get sucked in? Do you get angry? Do you get depressed? Do you get pissed off? Do you fall in and or do you just say, fuck you, I'm going to have a good time regardless, It's my party. It's not your party. I'm just going to fucking have fun in my corner. I'm going to make my own music, not listen. That's to your shit,
Yeah, this is what, do you know what? What I do with the news is I do a lot of the news I get from, because I've got my, usually I'm scrolling X a lot of the time, and I know it's not always like 100% true, but I mean, I think you get a better overall view from something like X.
Totally. That X is my news source, and
it has to be really. But I do sort of I like to look at the BBC site just to see what they're trying to push on you, just to see what the agenda is from that perspective. Not that I'm believing everything that I'm seeing or whatever, but I think it's good to kind of just keep an eye on what they're trying to do, as well as having your proper sources.
Yeah, and then you check anything. I mean, listen, you look something on X, but you check it. I mean, I do. You've got to check things. It's just because they come from. It's not always right. People get the wrong idea and they can get mixed up. But I mean, there was a good one. Did you remember that thing that Macron coming out of the? Should I play that? Should I just play that clip of
when he hit? I was going to change he to she, but no, I'm going to keep it as he. When he hit Macron.
Yeah, when he hit Macron. Yeah.
That was amazing. Yeah. Didn't they say at the start that it wasn't the wife at first, and then everyone was like, "Come on, fuck off." Then they kind of had to change it.
Well, listen, I'm just going to play this because there was a little bit of a controversy.
Hilarious.
Well, there was something that was misunderstood by people. Well, George Galloway. I mean, I quite respect George Galloway, but he sort of got something wrong. And he said that if you look at the air stewardess, she's got an injured arm. And I actually looked, and I thought, yeah. And then I looked again. You have to look again. You have to do a double take. Whenever you look at something that might not be quite what people say it is, because things aren't always as the same. Let me just play this for lulz and shits and giggles, because it's always funny watching. Can you imagine that Macron and the sort of the way he's ruling France, but at the same time this man-woman thing apparently. Who loves children? He's saying allegedly, but she must do because he was a child when they sort of met. She was his teacher, but I mean, he's ruling France. Yes, this thing is ruling him. I mean, but this is the Illuminati. They're so dysfunctional. They're so absolutely insane. So I'm just going to play this. But look out for the air stewardess. And they said that her arm was injured, as if she'd been involved in a fight, as if they were fighting her. You can see that? Look at her shoulder. Can you see that? You see her shoulder?
Yeah, I can't tell what the hell that is.
Oh, hang on. That hasn't quite worked. Oh, hang on. What? Oh, yeah, that's okay. I'm just watching on BitChute. There's a delay.
There's no way that she would stand there if her thing had been ripped off and that was like blood and stuff.
Yeah, I know. So there were reports in the alternative media that it looks like it, though, doesn't it? At first glance, it actually looks like she got mauled by fucking the whatever the thing that Macron is married to is, whatever it is, that's a wig, that's for sure. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
but
100%.
Yeah, but she's been mauled.
That could just be it could be a tattoo. No. Has she got a tattoo? Do we know?
No, I mean, well, that's just it. If you look at there is a. She actually comes on. The thing is, she's actually not in the plane, so she's come. That door's opened, right? Is that the president? That's the presidential plane. Can you imagine? President de la République, and then he is getting slapped. That's bitch slapped. Like the bitch he is. She's just come on. She's come onto the plane as a sort of welcoming steward or whatever the welcoming thing is. I don't know what they call it. So she's come on, but you see what it is. In fact, it's not. Can you see that now? Yeah. It's a kind of, I don't know what you'd call that. It's a kind of patch or something that's over her uniform. Look at his face. Isn't that beautiful? Just to think of how much he's destroying France, and look at his face with that thing's fingers up his nose. I mean, that's enough to make me happy. You know what I mean?
It's one of the most comical things I've seen for a long time. Then his face.
Absolutely. Oh God, it's a stupid Macron's face. You bitch. You know what I mean? You have been bitch slapped. You've had your fucking nose picked. You've had I mean, gosh, could you imagine what the life must be like for people like that, though? Because all of these Illuminati people are insane. They're all completely insane. And they're just always sort of scratching and fighting for power and domination against each other, right? And there's no love there. You know what I mean? There's no love, right, between these people, right?
Yes, give him a wave there.
Yeah, that's some kind. That isn't her injured shoulder, as was reported, but it's some kind of. God knows what it is, but it's like you can see it's a kind of patch or something. I don't know. Would you recognize? Can you see what I mean? It's all. It's quite low. It's quite. You see the shape of it indicates it's not torn. It's not her. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's not her bare shoulder that's been cut because the door's just opened and she didn't come out the plane. She got onto it, so.
Yeah.
So you do have to double check. You do have to double check things. You know, sometimes things.
Yeah, you can see from the cut of it that it's kind of like it's some sort of material over it or something. Yeah. I mean, look. Yeah. You can also see it if you look very closely as well. You can also see it very slightly to the left of the strap of the luminous strap as well.
Oh, hang on. What's it? Yeah. Oh, that's some AI. Did you see that? Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, it's an accurate AI though.
Let's see this. I've not even seen this, and God knows what's going to happen. Thank God. Oh God. What next? Okay. Oh my God, there's loads. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, you can see that woman's just come onto the plane. You don't see what I mean now? This is ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, I know this is old news, but it's still fucking entertaining. I don't know. Apparently, he wanted to hold hands with her or something. But yeah, go ahead.
This is a 30. This was originally, for people that don't know, this man here getting bitch slapped was 15 years.
French
old.
President Emmanuel.
15 years old when he.
Why did Macron not?
Excuse me.
Bridget Macron.
Why did Macron not?
Macron, whatever you want.
Yeah, what he was 15 at school, and she was his teacher. Is that yeah?
Yep, yeah, that's right. I think yeah.
How old was she? As like 30?
She was 39. She was 39.
Oh my God, that's I mean, listen.
People
I don't
wanted to give me grief when I was 31.
Not dare to fight back.
19-year-old. You know what I mean? Craziness.
Oh yeah, well.
After getting
slapped
by his wife, she used three powerful strategies to completely gain control over him. When Macron's wife, Brigitte, accompanied him on a trip to Southeast Asia, she suddenly slapped him across the face right at the airplane door. But instead of getting angry,
it's like she's his kind of literally she's his like mentor. She's his controller. Do you know what I mean? It's quite interesting.
Macron just
he has no power over her to. I mean, I'm saying
excuse me?
back. I mean, but
Why did Macron
I mean,
not-
obviously, if that's happening in their relationship, then she's dominating him. Clearly, you know what I
Also,
mean?
that's the thing that it also indicates that sort of thing is happening more than just one random plane trip. You know what I mean? This is the sort of thing that's happening.
Yeah, that's the thing with AI. Everyone always falls down or explodes or turns into spaghetti or something. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, yeah, I know it's weird, isn't it? It's super weird. Yeah.
Listen. Give AI a few more years, and there's going to be some absolute madness.
Well, there is already. I've got some AI videos lined up, some pretty funny, cool ones. But anyway, let's carry on with this thing because the thing about I'm going to play a song in a minute. I'm going to go out for a cigarette, but we've gone on for quite a while. Should we just get to this theory about what's causing earthquakes?
Stefan back up, yeah.
So I better get him back on. Yeah, we had a nice little detour laughing at fucking Macron, which is really what Satan hates. He hates you laughing at him. So we just got to laugh at their bullshit.
We're just going to keep on doing it, though. So
not keep tumbling, keep laughing, and not let them bring us down. You know. So here we are. Here we go. All right.
Russia, where that data I just showed you is taking place. And so I've been researching into the history of nuclear explosions and all the testing that we did because I've been on a quest to better understand plasma physics. And anytime you generate and blast, you could take some fissile material and you take it supercritical, you're generating a bunch of plasma. And so the first atomic bombs were more of just a fissile kind of reaction, and then they scaled up into an actual fusion bomb, right? A hydrogen bomb, as they're called, which are much stronger. And I noticed this interesting connection between the strongest explosions that we ever detonated as it relates to nukes and some really significant earthquakes. For example, Alaska, 1964, magnitude 9.2 earthquake, $3.1 billion in damage, even going down to California, 130 something fatalities. That was just about 18 months to 24 months after two tests. The largest ever nuke detonated in space at 1.3 megatons, and then the largest ever nuke detonated ever, that was by the Russians, the Tsar Bomba. That was October of 1961. That was 60 megatons or so. And as I've looked into the research, the signals generated, the geophysical signals across a whole bunch of things like ionospheric disturbances and like the actual wavelength of these disturbances, the period, right? How they propagate out. It's very, very similar to earthquakes and the signals that they make. They also, we see earthquake lights come up sometimes from earthquakes, you know, these apparent orbs of plasma shooting up. And so I'm starting to kind of coalesce this idea. I'm not the first one to posit this, but this idea that earthquakes are probably some earthquakes at least, are some sort of thermonuclear explosion underground, because we found veins of enriched uranium at the surface. And of course, uranium and plutonium being dense are going to sink down. Makes sense that we would have even bigger veins of enriched plutonium. You have a high fluid flow along a shear zone. That's probably where it would collect. And so if you get this thermonuclear basically explosion underground, this generates a lot of plasma, a bunch of neutrons, right, which generate electrons. And then that all will shoot up to the ionosphere, create this ionospheric disturbance, trigger changes in the Schumann resonances, and more. Well, what we found with the nuclear research is that the imprints are nearly the same, and they noticed significant changes to the Schumann resonances, which are Earth's naturally resonant energy fields, which we've evolved in for millions of years, we suspect, which have these really rich biologic interactions with us. And they are one of these kind of master geophysical energies that exist on the planet. And so with the thousands of nukes that we detonated from the 40s all the way through supposedly the 90s, and that's it, North Korea taking up afterwards, you know, so they say, that's what we're going to talk about. That is all affecting the geophysical systems of the Earth quite significantly. It generates new radiation belts. It creates a lot of plasma across the entire system. These ionospheric disturbances, atmospheric gravity waves. You also increase the conductivity of the global electric circuit overall. The the atmosphere, and it's not just local. It's not just where the bomb went off. It's also at distances far away. So I think it's very interesting that we had this ionospheric disturbance off the western coast of Australia and Tasmania the same day that we had a oarfish, a doomsday fish, wash up, same location basically. And we noticed really weird anomalies in the Schumann resonances on the other side in the northern hemisphere in Thomson, Russia, but it's the magnetically conjugate points. That's where the field line goes from the northern hemisphere and connects to the southern hemisphere and vice versa. And so what they found with this nuclear testing and all the research is that it generates disturbances that travel across these field lines. So I'm not saying that's what we saw today, but this is an illustrative example. It could be, for example, what we would see if some sort of moderately sized nuclear blast was detonated deep underwater in an attempt to obfuscate the fact that we did this test. Because it's an area that no one goes, and the international independent, so they say, nuclear monitoring network, they don't use these geophysical techniques. They're primarily based on using sonar acoustogram, so like basically measuring sound waves in the water, seismic energy that ripples out through the land. It's mostly sound based. And so if you go to a remote enough location, it's a small enough blast, it probably won't get picked up by the network.
And maybe this is why the aliens appeared after the nukes started proliferating.
And this is Australia news.
Yo, True Spirit, you're on mute. You might be talking on mute. I'm not sure if you're trying to talk, but you've muted yourself.
Yeah, hi there. I'm back. Oh yeah, we've got a few more viewers now. So yeah, man. I'm gonna How are you doing, Future Shock?
I was thinking, like, look, maybe this is what we discussed on a previous show. I know we're going to do a little interlude in a sec, but I was just going to say,
I'm going to play a 13-minute song that I think I'll play. I won't play the silence because I mean, the Quake. We should have a Quaker moment, because it seemed to get loads of viewers last time. It kept rising, but it wasn't intentional. The idea was just to play this 13-minute track. But sorry, Future Shock, go ahead, brother.
Well, I was just going to say that listening to what he was saying there, thinking back to what we discussed on one of the first shows we did here, I think I was bringing it up in one of the first or second shows that we did. Maybe this is why the aliens appeared after the nukes started proliferating. The sightings that all kind of spiked when the nukes started proliferating. Maybe they knew we could fuck the planet and cause these seismic issues, plasma issues, all these disturbances Stefan mentions, and oarfish genocides with our use of nuclear technology. And perhaps
that's an if the aliens did appear, but yeah, that's what they say.
If the aliens, yeah, but maybe they're looking out for us because they might be listening. So yeah, we should say
they're listening to this podcast.
They might be listening.
They think they're one of our viewers. You think our few listeners, one of them is an alien.
They could be. If you are, make yourselves known.
Yeah. Please come on the show. We'd like to talk to an alien. By all means, even if you're just mentally ill and you think you're an alien, we'll still listen to you. So,
we're inclusive here. We
are. We totally are. We're investigators, and we don't discriminate against anyone or any species or any from any solar system. You're all welcome to contribute.
So did you want to?
But fundamentally, yeah. Sorry, bro. Go on.
I was going to say, did you want to do the song now then, or
in a minute? But the thing is, his theory is that there's uranium in the core of the Earth, and that I would like to find it specifically where it says that, but that the solar flares specifically interact with the uranium in the Earth, and they sort of set off a fission event, which is why in earthquake fission, which is why not fishing, but fission. Which is why often light and plasma discharges accompany earthquakes, because it's the uranium exploding in the center of the Earth and releasing plasma waves, which radiate out into space And that's a fascinating theory. I'd like to try and find that, but we are going to take a break now, aren't we, bro? Let's do that, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it, man. So this is a 13-minute song, yeah? So you've got 30 minutes.
We meant to play it last week, but it didn't work. But this time it should be, because I've cropped it and packed it and fucked it and uploaded it properly. So okay, it should work.
I've got
Here it goes. This is the band. This is Into the Sun by the fabulous band Sandwich Pan. Are you ready for this, Future Shock?
I'm always ready. I was born ready.
I am. I think I'm about ready. Okay, let's go. Let me know. Can you hear that, sir?
Yeah.
All right,
I'm really
great.
concerned about the kids today. I think they're fucked. There's no future for them. There's no jobs. The majority of them are having to still live at home with parents because they can't afford rent. They can't afford to get a mortgage. Fuck all. So, a lot of them are just sat at home on games, wasting their life away. Thinking that that's going to be their future is just playing games and wanking, and wanking's not an applicable skill. I mean, they don't have any applicable skills. I mean, they don't know how to cook. They don't know how to fucking clean. They don't know how to. They can't dig a fucking garden because they sat at home all day on a fucking chair. Yeah, they don't know how to lay a brick, fucking tile. Don't know how to do fuck all. They need to start learning how to do these skills. They need to start getting off the fucking phones and getting off the computers and living in the fucking real world and not the digital world, because the digital world is that's gonna fucking enslave them all. Yeah, they're not numerate or literate, you know what I mean? And they just don't know their numbers and fucking words. All they know is fucking dots on the screen. It's They have no unifying faith. Yeah, they've got diversity. And I guess wokeness is their faith now. But yeah, it's some weird new virtue signalling, pedophilic intersectionalism. And intersectionalism is the foundation of communism. Kids are being groomed by everybody to be this way. So perhaps we can change that. Perhaps we should groom them as to we want them to have better faith in humanity again. Teach them skills like cooking. Exercise, fucking hell, what can do with that? Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, just look around. I mean, how many fat little bastards are there out there? It's not normal, it's tragic. Other than fucking the health implications. It's not good. Because the apocalypse is coming because of this generation's weakness. This generation's weakness is a direct result of successive generations getting weaker and weaker, and lazier and lazier. And we've ended up with this generation as the laziest, fattest, stupidest, wokest, most childish punch of useless bastards we've ever seen. And it's all fault, because it's these bell ends which are causing the apocalypse. But wouldn't it be great if even post-apocalypse that there was some great guy who wanted to do the right thing, who cared about posterity, who wanted to bring the kids up right, to venerate the other wisdom, unifying the faith, and murders towards all those Greta Thunbergs out there.
my little ones, have you been praying today? I pray you've been praying, my little ones, praying that we'll be okay. Have you been praying, my little ones? Have you been praying tonight? I pray you've been praying, my little ones, praying that we'll be alright. Gather those branches, little ones, gather the wood for the fire. All you can find now, little ones, up before the snows get much higher. Anything that burns now, little ones, anything that you may find. Gather it fast now, little ones, up before the snow makes us blind. Keep the fire roaring, little ones, keep the house holy and warm. Close every window and bar every door to weather this season of storm. Waltz at the door, my little ones, and there's no time to waste on your games. Open your hearts, my little ones, open your hearts to the flames. Heat up your blades now, little ones, when they glow red how they slice. Away the frost of the fallen, away the harshness of ice. Put your face close to the fire, my dear, hold it till you feel it burn. Do you know it is God's love, my dear? It means the things that you must learn. Keep to your prayers now, little ones, many moons till we are done. Keep your face close to the fire and none for soon we shall kill in the sun. Burn bright the fire at the forge again, and while we now clasp hands and kneel, answer our prayers now, Almighty Lord, our God of earth, fire and steel. Almost every day you're fighting the light of the Lord. Only choose silence when you pray to the flame and the sword. 10,000 times every move is made, a hammer the steel into shape. An army as far as the eye can see, flaming swords like the landscape. Pinching his eyes in the masquerade, a terrible display of skill. The novices are all the less to see of the speed in which fire can kill. Born in the children now move as one, the swords of fire swallow the night. Into the furnace, into the sun, all that is left is the light. And the seas should sail will be fire and blood, all will be butchered and torched. For on the morning it is the dawning of an earth barren and scorched.
Okay, folks, fellow tumblers and light questers, that was Into the Sun by Sandwich Pan. Fabulous band you've never heard of and no one's ever heard of, and you heard it here first. You know, if you what do you think of that, man?
There was some nice atmospheres there, I must say.
Fucking brilliant little track that is. Absolutely brilliant, man. I mean, the song. I mean, I'm a sort of fellow songwriter in this band. I'm contributing, but this band is like it's the deepest underground thing you can imagine, but it's coming out of the earth. We're coming out of the earth, and we're coming out of the earth on this podcast, and we want, you know, this band Sandwich Pan. It's just amazing. I mean, wow.
Is a pro.
But some of the songs are too spicy to play here, unfortunately. You know, some of the best songs are too spicy. You know what I mean? I've got one song here called "It," and if I played that, we'd get into trouble. But anyway, but yeah, let's get back onto it. We've had a little break. I've had a cigarette break. How's it going, man? How's it going? What did you do in those 13 minutes of
Those
repose?
13 minutes, I ate some beef and mustard.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing what you can do in 13 minutes. I just went outside, had a cigarette, and spoke to my neighbour about her gardening, and she's sort of developing the area. She's putting plants everywhere and bulbs and stuff, and it's really beautiful out here. She serves as like a medal for like brightening up this part of southwest London, making things nice around here.
Do you actually have a garden in your house, Shay? Because I actually, I have a flat, but I don't have a garden, which is a bit sad.
Outside, we have like a communal space where we like go outside and hang out, and it's looking on the street, but it's a nice little thing. It's like in London, it's so hard to have a little green space, but outside our door, we can go outside, and we've got like she's like taken over this place with plants and flowers, and it's so beautiful. It's really nice.
That is true. I mean, I think a lot of people who may not have been to London don't realize. I mean, it is actually quite difficult to get a place especially a place of your own, where you've got like a little garden as well of some kind, even a little, like even quite literally a little garden. Because I mean, I don't have anything here. I mean, there are 2 back flats that have a garden, because I live in sort of a big house full of flats. So if you're in the back flats go on to a garden, but if you're in the front flats, you've got nothing.
I mean, I got this like Russian friend who rents a tiny little room. He has a tiny flat, but it's more like a studio. He has a kitchen and everything, and same bathroom, but it's all in his bedroom. But it's all a little self-contained little area studio. But then he opens his back door, and so to speak, and it's like wonderful. He has all this space. There's all these gardens, and it's like he has a garden. It's like twice the size of his studio, but he has that space. So it's like there's always some kind of compensation, I think, in London somehow. If you look for the right place to live, even if you have a small place, you can have compensation by having access to a little bit of land or something. Even though it's not your land, you can do with it what you want for the time being and such. You know what I mean?
To be fair, location-wise, I mean, I can walk to Ali Pali, Alexandra Palace Park. I mean, I can walk to Duckett's Common, which is another little kind of park that has like basketball courts and all this kind of stuff. So it's not isolated, but it is obviously nice just to be able to just chill in your back garden, isn't it? So
it is. It's like an Englishman's right, really, somehow. I mean, it's less common in France and Europe and such, but somehow for us Brits or Englishmen or whatever, like there's always like we have a yearning, like we're hobbits or something. I think that's why Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings. It's sort of it's about the heart of the Englishman, really. We may not be proficient gardeners, but we do have a yearning for nature and for a little bit of land of our own. I think that's
when you're a country bumpkin, like I am originally a country boy, so. I spent 18 years in the Yorkshire countryside. So I then moved to Tottenham. So that was quite a culture shock.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
And a future shock.
Yeah. So great. Let's get back into some of the things. I mean, I will move on. We've had a while. I couldn't quite find it when he extrapolates his theory that uranium in the Earth's core, in the Earth's crust and mantle, interacts with solar flares and electromagnetic energy from the sun, and that's what's causing earthquakes. It's causing sort of subterranean nuclear explosions, and as I mentioned, this is why you get like lights and plasma during earthquakes, because it's a nuclear explosion in the Earth, which is sort of radiating out into space. It's like kind of incredible, really, when you think about it. And usually, when there's an earthquake, there's like sort of there's like uranium sort of deposits or readings that are associated with electromagnetic with the nuclear subterranean fission events. Fission events. Yeah. So okay. So like we've got a few things we could talk about. I mean, what interests me. We were talking about. I saw your podcast that you did about football betting. I was quite intrigued by what you're doing. It seemed quite technical. What channel is that? Do you want to promote your channel?
That's at Rob Future. But what we're actually doing mainly is talking more. It's just footy chat, basically. I've decided, like we were chatting backstage, to suspend the betting chat because I just feel like talking about it live jinxes it. It seems to be more successful when I'm doing the theory, which I'll explain in a second. It seems to be more successful when I'm doing that not live and just sort of personally on my own. So, but essentially what it is it's using the reach of AI, the knowledge that AI has, to look at games and what kind of are the most highest percentage winning bets, so the most highest percentage likely bets to win for the games. And it's quite interesting because within the sort of research that AI can do on the most obscure leagues or the most known leagues, whichever league you want, they can do it within seconds and give you the answers within seconds. Now, obviously, nothing's guaranteed, and some do lose. But since I've been doing it more often than not, I've been making little wins, and I have only been doing it with small amounts because obviously it's a bit daft to start chucking shitloads of money at it.
Well, listen, you've got to fill me in because I need a bit of cash as well, man. I mean, we always need a bit extra. So listen, I've got some liquid floating around. Let's get in this, and I'm ready to lose, but I'm also ready to win. You know what I mean?
Well, for sure. I mean, but the thing is, what I would do basically is I would just go through, usually it would be singles or maximum doubles, and I would just ask it essentially, I would give it the two team names and I would say, look, given all the information that's available to you and all the statistics, head-to-head statistics, current league form, league positions, injury information, what would you say are the most highest percentage bets to do for this game? And it will take its 5-6 seconds to figure it all out. And then it will give you a few options. And then, you pick what you think. There's a bit of your own discernment involved as well. And then you just sort of discern which one you think sounds the best one. Stick it on. Say, I've been doing it like just a 5 one. My idea being, if I can double it, and I can double regularly, then potentially you can increase the stake. Now, I will just say as a disclaimer that we're not promoting gambling here as well, by the way.
What we're doing is we're promoting technology and statistics and probability and the kind of like that kind of idea of I've got a particular story that I found on dark web about betting scams and such. But this isn't a betting scam. This is using AI to predict football results. Is that what I'm? Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I can try and find. If you just give me a second, I can try and find the last sort of things that it was kind of saying. So, I mean, just give me 1 sec. So it will just sort of give you risk factors and statistical estimations, and you're really looking at trying to find things that are sort of have like an 80% plus chance of working, and then you're really kind of working with a good probability there, obviously. And yeah, it's just it depends on the game, obviously, and the point with it is basically that you've got this thing at your hand that can now do research for you at vastly increased speeds and provide you with information that it would take pretty much 3-4 hours to pour over all the information and make these decisions. But this thing can do it for you in like 10-20 seconds. It doesn't 100% guarantee you win stuff, but so far it seems to be like winning more often than not, which is what you want, really. Yeah.
Well, that kind of leads on to my little thing about chaos theory that I had that I've been thinking about. I've mentioned the chaos theory before. The implications of chaos theory are the opposite to chaos. What they do, have you heard of that thing, the God of the Gaps? Have you heard of that? God of the Gaps.
The God of the Gaps.
Yeah, that's not familiar to you, no. So it's something that's come up in modern science. It's kind of almost a derogatory term, but it kind of does explain. What it is. The suggestion is that the God of the Gaps is because of what modern science and quantum physics is suggesting, and what chaos theory is suggesting, which I'll go into in a minute. It's suggesting that there's so many gaps in modern science, and there's so many sort of things we can't explain, that the thing that we can't explain is God or quantum. Well, the quantum realm, the 4-dimensional intrusions into our reality is what I call it. I call it 4D intrusions, but it's known as God of the Gaps. And it's like, there's a lot of leeway in modern science because the things I can't explain. It gives a lot of space for the unknown and hence God and the unknown things. So this thing about the chaos theory. So Edward Lorenz, he's a mathematician and meteorologist who discovered so-called chaos theory. I say so-called because it doesn't suggest chaos. It suggests the opposite. So he defined chaos theory thus. Let me quote this Edward Lorenz. So he said that when the present determines the future, so the present determines the future. So you're looking at football matches. So you're using the statistical data of injuries and previous results and such and such and such to map a probabilistic future. That's fair, right?
Yeah.
But, so Edward Lorenz says, but, the approximate present does not approximately determine the future. So he's kind of saying that there's always going to be a factor in your football predictions, no matter how statistically accurate and things, they will not ever, and you will not always consistently win because of chaos theory. So chaos theory is intruding in your betting plans. So it implies that in a system, there are factors which cannot be predicted or accounted for, which can radically change eventual conditions based on initial conditions. Are you with me there, Future Shock? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I see that happen a lot of the time. I mean, I've done betting over the years here and there. I've never been someone who's just sort of like been so into it that I've been doing it day in, week out, month out, and all that sort of thing. But you definitely see this. There's things you can't legislate for. You can do all the forward planning you want. Then somebody gets sent off in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it fucks everything
chaos
up.
theory. There it is. It's brilliant, isn't it?
I mean,
it's brilliant for me because it's like that kind of intrusion of the unknown. It's wonderful, you know.
But this is what you have to use. You're not just using the data that the AI is giving. You're also kind of using your own discernment as well, because sometimes you have to slightly change the bet that you're doing based on what you think as well as what the AI is telling you. And more often than not, those bets actually win. So, I mean, it's difficult to explain without giving kind of like examples and stuff. But sometimes AI will it will suggest something, and you just think, I just can't say. Maybe it will suggest.
Yeah, interesting.
A lot of the time, what a good thing to do is to kind of go under what it suggests. So, if it suggests that a game is going to have more than 2 goals, you say that it's going to have more than 1 goal instead of going for more than 2 goals or something like this. But there's just certain things like I sort of said before, if you can get it to kind of give you a bunch of potential probable solutions that are 80% plus chance, then you've got a really good chance of consistently winning with that. Obviously it's 80% and 100. It can never be 100 for the reasons you're giving.
And chaos will never allow you to have 100% because there's always that intrusion of the unknown that can never, you know, even though you can have scientifically, you can have all of the statistics and facts mapped, there's always like unknown elements that will sort of intrude. And this theory isn't just about football matches, but it's throughout the whole of life. There's always that element of what it is. We don't know what it is. Fate, destiny, or just bad luck. You know what I mean? It's all of those things that control us, yet we can't map them. We can't plan them and plot them and determine them.
No, I mean, yeah, exactly. And I'm just sort of looking up the God of the Gaps kind of like theory here. It sort of says that it refers to the idea that gaps in scientific understanding are often used as evidence for the existence or action of God.
Exactly. It's slightly derogatory. I mean, but I don't consider it. I consider that a completely valid point of view. Yeah. Because I do believe there is a God in the gaps.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just reading through it here, just trying to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I would say, yeah, it's just something that's not necessarily kind of like understood. Maybe it's just stuff that's not necessarily understood yet. But yeah,
that's what we're here for, isn't it, Future Shock? We're here to go over things that aren't really understood. I mean, it's like we hardly understand them ourselves, but we talk about them and go through them. In the hope of what? Just like cracking the nut, really, you know, and getting the seed out and just chomping on that juicy juicy bit of reality truth. That truth nut.
The
Truth
thing that
nut.
I was like, maybe
We name the channel Truth Nuts.
the thing that was just maybe tempting me a little bit too much by the whole football betting thing is like the idea that it is numbers, but the thing is, it's not just numbers, is it? It is a bit of chaos theory mixed in with numbers, and it's whether you can actually get. I'm not trying to say you can beat chaos theory, but it's whether you can consistently enough beat.
No, you cannot. You cannot predict it. That's by definition. It's indeterminable. You know.
Perhaps not on a one-off basis, but perhaps if you can do it consistently enough, then
there might be an equation for it eventually. They may be able to like mathematically factor it in, but it would still be a mystery because it is like all of these numbers and ratios and things like the gravitational constant, all of these mysterious numbers and these sort of so-called irrational numbers that have no end. It's like they're all part of the fabric of this. Like, I mean, I've talked before about the the sort of seed-generated universe and player instances, and how this reality is sort of based on seeds, which is how sort of how they generate sort of universes in video and players in video games. They use these consistently repeating patterns as the seeds, and then it creates a whole universe. Procedural generation. That's the term. So for my belief, the universe is built. This universe is built on procedural generation, where there are seed numbers and ratios which are in the cosmos and planted in, and they just sort of work. And somehow, we don't know how. I can't explain it. No one can explain it. That's the very interesting thing about this. We don't really know how they interact with our physical world, like the Fibonacci sequence and such, which is observable, and Euler's number, which is the number about which microbes reproduce, but also the number in which urban growth occurs and planetary sort of events follow these ratios. But they're like seeds, which are used in the procedural universe, which are used in video games. They're sort of like core inputs and equations, which will then just spawn the virtual universe. And we live in a universe which is not virtual, but it is in a way, you know.
Well, this is what I was going to say. It's kind of like those. It's kind of like a computer game where the algorithms are run just to kind of like develop the different aspects of the universes and galaxies and whatnot that you have in these particular games and stuff like this. So it seems to be run on a similar kind of basis. I guess hence why something like, what do you call it? Simulation theory, perhaps why something like that is quite a popular thing, because it's kind of you can see why it's looked at like that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. So I was interested in your sort of investigations about football betting. So I wrote a novel, and part of the research I did for writing this novel, I went to the dark web, and I looked around the dark web and to check out what's going on there. And there's a lot of scams and a lot of weird stuff. I mean, one of the things you can do in the dark web is you can very easily be involved in illegal activities. I mean, I shouldn't promote them. I'm not promoting them, but I'm just saying kind of things you can do is you can pay some. It's horrible. You can pay you can pay a criminal like £10 or £100, and for that £100, he will illegally obtain £1,000 from someone's credit card that he's hacked, or someone's bank details. And if you give him £100, you will be involved in criminal activity, no doubt about it. I mean, but you will possibly get £1,000. That's the suggestion. These are the kind of things that are on the dark web. I mean, I obviously haven't checked it because I don't want to be involved in illegal activity, but that exists. There's possibilities exist there. But one of the things I did look at was betting scams on the dark web, and they're very interesting. And I've looked into one in particular. One of the scammers managed to obtain the email addresses for. This is very interesting. This is very convincing. Imagine you're part of this, right? You're one of 9,000 people, but you don't know that. But you purchase an opt-in from a company in Europe, and they send out tips to people on the list. Okay, so they'll just email you out of the blue. maybe they got your email, just who knows how. But they will send out tips to people on the list based on giving the results of a chosen football match at both half-time and full-time, which tend to give good odds. So it's always important that the match has to give quite good odds. The thing is, of those 9,000 people, the majority of those results, they'll predict the result. So they'll say, okay, 1-1, 2-2, whatever. The thing is, out of 9,000 people, the majority of those results will be incorrect because they're only guesses. But statistically, one of the groups will receive the correct results of the football match. So can you imagine, like, these 9,000 people, they're sending out a variety of possibilities of what could happen in this football match. Most of them will be wrong, and you'll just, okay, that's just spam. But imagine you get an email saying, okay, a week before the match or whatever, a few days before, and they predicted the correct result. So statistically, there are 9 possibilities for the match. So let's see. These are the 9 possibilities. Okay, so the 9 possibilities are draw, home, win, draw, 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 home, loss, loss, home, loss, draw, etc. Do you see what I mean? The possibilities of the match. It'd be a draw, it'd be a home win, it'd be a home loss, etc., etc. 9 there are 9 possibilities actually of those things. Thing is, it's certain that one group made of 1,000, since there are 9,000 people, 1,000 people statistically will receive the correct prediction entirely for free. Okay, so that's just been sent out to them. So 1,000 people have received the correct prediction for a football match. Okay, and then there's the promise of another free prediction next week. So you're hanging on, still free, right? Still free. You haven't put any money on yet because you think this is a scam. Okay, they got the correct result, but it's just luck, right? So they promise another free prediction next week. So 1,000 people, as I said, have just received an email which gave them the correct score and result to what they're told is a fixed football match. I don't think I made that clear actually, but these scammers say football matches are fixed, and we can prove it because we've got the information. We know which way it's going to go. So many of those people are going to be very curious as they await the second free fixed football match result. So if you subdivide 1,000 people into the same 9 groups, so what was it? Draw, home, win, draw, home, loss, home, loss, loss, home, loss, draw, etc. So you subdivided 1,000 people into the same nine groups. So what it is, it's the same 9 permutations of the half-time result and the full-time result, after which 111 people are going to be receiving the correct result for the second week in succession. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah.
So 111 people now, after they've obtained the email address of 9,000 people, 111 people, because of the statistics, all of the 889 or whatever have dropped out because they know it's a scam. However, there's 111 people who've received the correct prediction for a so-called fixed football match for 2 weeks. Those 111 people are now going to be very interested in your services.
Yeah.
You know, and now is the time these scammers ask for money. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. And this is what they clean up on the third, when they say, okay, that you've had 2 free correct predictions, and then they say, now we're going to predict the correct, and then this is where you start paying, because you'll think, okay, I'm going to put some money on this. You've lost 90% of your subscribers, but having 12 subscribers left, they've now potentially received 3 correct football match predictions in a row. So it's very interesting, isn't it? So 12 people now believe potentially that this organization knows the results because they've correctly predicted 3 football matches in 3 weeks in a row.
The thing is,
how much are they going to be willing to pay FutureShock for one more tip?
Well, what I was going to ask you, actually, I was going to ask you, like, do you know what is it that they actually charge then?
A tip which they now might believe cannot possibly fail. But the weird thing is, one lucky person would be right. So it's kind of a funny thing, but one of those 12 subscribers will get the right prediction and will make a mint. How much it is, I'm not entirely sure, but I just sort of saw that. I didn't look into the details of the precise things, but because I don't want to get sucked in, but that's how betting scams on the dark web work. They're very interesting. They use mass mail outs and statistical probability, and it's possibly an effective way for these people illegally to make money.
But basically what they do as well, which should really kind of alert people to the bollocks of it, you alluded to it just then, was they will say that these matches are fixed, and they will use matches that are usually quite well-known matches, even if they're just like, well-known in betting circles as well. You might not think that the sort of the Belgian First Division or the Lithuanian Premier League or the Latvian League or the Russian League or whatever would be classed as well known, but in betting circles they are pretty well known. It's not like you're betting on like the Surinamese Second Division juniors or something like this. And then they claim that these matches are fixed. Now, kind of like we chatted about backstage, I don't doubt that there are some definite shenanigans that go on at certain levels, especially in sort of like poorer.
Well, I always remember Bruce Grobbelaar from Liverpool back in the day. He was done for match fixing, but that seems to have quietened down, doesn't it, in the Premiership?
Bruce Grobbelaar, there was Anderlecht as well, very famously paid a referee, I think it was. I can't remember the exact story. So it does go on, but the thing is, like, they try to claim too much that these matches are fixed, and that's kind of like where they fall down for me. It's like you're better off trying to come at it from a perspective of like, we are good at predicting these games, we have got a good track record of predicting these games, rather than trying to like convince people that they're actually fixed. But then I suppose there's a lot of gullible people out there. There's a lot of people, there are people born buffering who think that that actually is a thing. So I guess that's how the scam works, isn't it? So there's a lot of people who see fixed and they think, oh my god, it's fixed, oh my god, this is going to win. And that's just kind of how it works.
Yeah. You're a footy fan, aren't you? You're big into football. I mean, I like football with mates and that, and watching it with a few beers. I mean, the thing is, for me, football's a full-time it's a full-time job, really, keeping up with it, though. Do you know what I mean? Don't you think? Do you not find it's quite a lot. It's like quite a lot of information. It's like quite a big data set. Football, the players and the managers and everything. I mean, if you make money out of it, but I always find it quite hard work to because there are times when I'm with mates, certain like football mates or something, and we're all into it. We drink beers, we play bloody PlayStation and watch boxing and football, and I sort of get into it and download it all, and then the thing is, I go away for a few years, like I do abroad or whatever, and it's all changed. It's like fucking all changed. So you have to sort of get into it and update your data set of it all, and it's quite strenuous. I find it tiring, to be honest with you, but I do love my home team, of course. I mean, what's your team anyway, Future Shock? What do you support?
So I support Arsenal and also Real Betis in Spain. When you say home team, are you meaning Grimsby Town?
Grimsby Town, yeah, Grimsby Town, yeah.
The Mariners, yeah. Is that what they were called?
The Mighty Mariners, yeah, the Codheads, yeah.
That is right. Yeah, I
thought they had a fair season. I mean, they're in the second division. They nearly got promoted. They nearly got in the playoffs. But
I used to be such a nerd when it came to football grounds, and I'm trying to think what
they have a fantastic football ground. Bloody hell, it's absolutely. It's got from like row K to Z. You have the most beautiful view of the River Humber, because the football ground is right.
I'm trying to remember it without Googling it, and I
don't know if I can show a picture, because it's one of the greatest views. Because most of the time, Grimsby Town stink, and they've been winning away consistently, but at home they're shit. It's like they don't want to be there.
No.
They can't wait to get out of Grimsby, because they smash all the giants of the league when they go away.
See, I do remember because I used to get it mixed up with Bolton's old ground. So no, Grimsby's ground, I remember now, Blundell Park.
It's a wonderful ground. It's one of the oldest in the country. They have the old stand is still made of wood, and the fire brigade twice a week they have to douse it with water. to prevent it being a fire hazard. But it's like it's from 1901 or 1902 or something. It's like the oldest wooden, still the last wooden one of the. Well, they've got modern stands. They've got a big fat family stand, but the old stand is still made of wood. It's actually wonderful. But the view is sensational. Let me just see if I can just bring that up somehow. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can bring up the beauty.
Yeah, I can bring it up. I mean, yeah, yeah. Okay, maybe I'll labor that later because I can't quite get that. So, yeah. What was I gonna do? Hang on. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna move on to AI actually because you talked about AI and how AI is getting so much better. And what I'll do that. I'll find out later.
So for me, I mean, it's just like every.
Oh, I've got a nice picture here. Here we go. I'll just share this. Okay. It's not a. I should have. I've been to a lot of home games this season. I should have taken. I should have taken a picture. I will just share this wonderful image of Grimsby Town Football Ground. If you can imagine. I mean, have you been to Arsenal and such? Have you been to the
I've been to Arsenal loads. I usually go to Real Betis over in Seville every April, although I haven't been for a few years since the sort of like what is it? What did we call it? The bug times? What were we calling it instead of having to call it?
Yeah, this fucking thing.
Since the bug times. Well, yeah, I will definitely go back. No, the thing is, I was going to go back next year, but actually, Betis is renovating their ground, so they're at a temporary different staging, which is annoying. So I wanted to do a night game. So I haven't done a night game there. I've only ever gone in.
Yeah, my mate was always doing Tottenham night games in the Europa League because he could get tickets easily. He always asked me to go, but I was working at the time and I didn't fancy. It was middle of winter. I couldn't be asked to trek to North London to see Tottenham, who I don't really like, but be surrounded by Tottenham fans. But they're only 35 quid a ticket or so. And it's not bad if you're in the Europa League or whatever. That's probably a pretty good opportunity to see.
I mean, 35. Yeah, it's still 35 to Tottenham, but still, yeah. I mean, in of itself,
too much. It's not bad though, is it?
I mean, it's Tottenham though. I mean, as an Arsenal fan.
Oh yeah, of course, it is too much for putting up fucking Tottenham. Yeah, no, right.
But I guess in isolation, objectively, it's not a bad
product. Yeah, you're right, bro. Do you fucking hate Tottenham as an Arsenal fan? Who do you hate? Hate. Who do you hate? I know the tribe of Man United.
Man United are arguably our bigger rivals. Tottenham are just kind of like the local rivals. But I grew up with it was Arsenal, Man United. It was Arsene Wenger versus Alex Ferguson. So United were always the rivals. Tottenham were just like. Tottenham aren't really rivals. They don't. Well, they've won something this season, but usually they don't win anything. So that's Blundell Park for anybody who. Yeah,
here's the one. I mean, this is wonderful.
The seaside, get some nice fish and chips there.
That's bloody beautiful. That's where I'm from. It's a beautiful town. I mean, yeah, Grimsby. They put it down, but Cleethorpes is just. Can you see my cursor? Can you see that? Yeah. Just up there, we get Yorkies by the thousand in the summer, and it's actually quite nice. It's actually rather beautiful. And there's nature reserves and all sorts, and it's wonderful. But this is Cleethorpes, but Grimsby Town, Blundell Park is in Cleethorpes. It's one of those teams which is not in the town, which is designated as, you see. So if you can imagine, can you see my cursor? On the left is the old ground. Obviously, it's got some kind of aluminium steel roof or whatever, but this stand is wood. It's all wood frames, wood supports from 100 and more years ago. But on the right is the modern stand, and from the top row you have a magnificent view over the Humber River. You can imagine it's quite nice. And obviously when I go to the games, I spend most of my time just gazing because we have been so poor at home this season. It's been fucking shocking. But yeah, anyway.
Where are they? Where are Grims? Oh no, sorry.
They finished eighth. They finished eighth, just outside of the playoffs. And there's a rumor that the reason they had a game which they lost because I believe they were so poor that the Cleethorpes, the local team, had just been promoted, and I believe the Grimsby Town lads got pissed up, the team with the Cleethorpes lads, and the next day they had to play, and they were shit, and they lost like 4-2 or something. It was 5 5-1. It was disgusting. And that, I think that one match is what sealed our, not relegation, because we did have a relegation battle the previous season. But that sort of closes off from the chance of a playoff. But next season, there's always another season to play for.
Well,
yeah, that's my.
I think you dropped out of the league, isn't it, at some point?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. A couple of years ago, we were in the conference, but we got back in, and we're holding our ground. I mean, listen, Grimsby's a humble town. I mean, there's not a lot of reason for people to really live there. It's got the cheapest property prices in the country. In fact, there's a lot of Londoners that are always coming. One of my friends is a Londoner who's a Chelsea supporter. Yeah, Chelsea supporter, Fulham lad. Pimlico, born in Pimlico, and he's now moved to Cleethorpes. Sold his flat in London. And living in Cleethorpes now, and actually quite loving life there, because he's involved in the community. He's involved in all sort of the military sort of ex-servicemen groups and such like this, and he's having a whale of a time. He's always engaged and busy. You imagine him being in London. He's getting older. He's in his 60s. He would be like isolated and alone and disoriented. Well, I mean, he's all right. He looks after himself. He's a big lad, actually. Even though he's in his 60s, he's a big bloke. He's a towering unit. But all the same, he's sort of disconnected from his culture in London nowadays, and he's come to Cleethorpes to sort of reconnect with whatever we are, with us.
A lot of people are in that situation, aren't they? Not necessarily everyone from London descending on Cleethorpes, because that would be crazy.
Yeah, they're coming up north. Londoners, Skegness, Cleethorpes, they're very popular destinations from Londoners because of the cheap property prices and because it's safe. I mean, it's relative. I mean, I never feel endangered in London myself, but you hear the stories and such and such and such. I mean, I've never been in danger here.
Depends where you live. Like, to be honest with you, where I refuse to wear. You always have to be very alert. I refuse to wear headphones when I walk out. It's too. I'm not saying that there's danger at every single corner, but it's best to be cautious. Do you know what I mean? Around here, when I see girls walking
streetwise, always been the thing to be in the Londoner is just be streetwise, which just doesn't mean being afraid. It just means just keeping. Just know what's going on around you. Do you know what I mean?
And it's just like whenever I see girls around here, especially, and they got their headphones on, and especially when they got them big headphones on as well, they're walking around at night. Around at night, and it's just like, come on, this is. Do you really need to listen to Beyonce that much at midnight? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like you're taking such a big risk here. And like when I've had conversations like this with people before, they're just kind of like, they seem to say about it. It just takes one time. It just needs to happen one time. Do you know what I mean? Something bad needs to happen one time in your life. So why you wouldn't walk around blind, would you? Do you know what I mean? So why'd you walk around deaf?
No, you wouldn't willingly choose to walk around blind, Yeah. So I've got this. You talked about AI earlier and how it's getting so much. I mean, I'm a Christian, and I actually love what AI is. There's a YouTuber called PJ Ace. I'll just share his channel to give him some credit, and then I'll share his videos. So can you? Oh God, yeah. I have to click again because this is fucking StreamYard. Here we are. So PJ Ace, he's only got 3. This is what amazes me. Future Shock is that there are some amazing AI video creators, but it's still underground. Look at that. He's only got.
How long has he been going for though? That it depends how. Because he's only got 26 videos, which is not too bad. He's got 3,000.
Well, look, he joined in 2014, but it's like me. I joined X in 2015, but Twitter, but I didn't do anything because I didn't like Twitter. I hated the idea of Twitter. I just can't be bothered. Because why express yourself in 14 words? Was that what it was or something? I couldn't be bothered. It was all Stephen Fry and all that kind of.
Yeah, it used to be so short form, didn't it? I still get pissed off we don't have an edit button, or you have to pay Premium Plus.
I love Elon Musk that he's got X. It's just saved the world. It really has, man. X has become a bastion of free speech. It's so awesome, along with BitChute. So there are two platforms I absolutely thank God
Rumble
you've saved.
Well is worth a mention. Rumble is
Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, and X. They're the last. That's what, because the internet used to be all like that. It was just free speech. It wasn't any one thing against. It wasn't so-called hate, so-called far right. It was just free speech, and that free speech was based on observations of people and research, and that's what it was, and that's all it was. But now you can't do research. You can't observe. You can't notice, as they say. You can't notice the trends and what's happening and who's doing what, because then they start calling you names, and then they try and socially shame you, or even knock on your door at 4 o'clock in the morning, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But anyway,
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then the things that are people have been getting knocks on the door at 4 a.m. in the morning for, a few weeks later, our very own beloved Prime Minister says. So, make that make sense.
Well, who's knocking on his door? Fucking Ukrainian fucking rent boys. You know what I mean? Yeah, woo!
Something's getting knocked anyway.
He's getting knocked. His back door's getting knocked down, man. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, listen. Sorry.
It's getting set on fire, that thing. It's a ring of fire, that is.
The ring of fire, bro. Yeah. Okay. Right. I'm just going to share this.
Into trouble here.
Well, again, I started into all sorts of dubious double entendres, which are amusing, but a bit saucy. So can you see that? I quite like this. I mean, I'm a Christian, but I'm not too uptight about it, and I've got a sense of humor. But this is quite nice. This is lovely. Let me see if I can play this. There's a few videos of AI bringing Bible stories to life. This is the idea here. Let's play this. Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Maria. You won't believe this. An angel literally showed up and said, "I'm gonna have a baby from God." Like, what?
Okay, I told Joseph. He froze for like 5 minutes, then asked if I was sure. I said, absolutely. He's been pacing in the backyard ever since.
So we're heading to Bethlehem. 9 months pregnant, on a donkey. This is not how I pictured today going.
Okay, I'm about to give birth. There's a cow snoring, no bed, and it smells like donkey. 5 stars for privacy, 0 for comfort.
Hey guys, he's here. Born right here in this cozy barn. We're tired, but our hearts are full.
Okay, not even 24 hours old, and he's already getting gifts. Baby's first collab? We'll unbox later. Love you guys, care. Don't forget to like and pray.
Yo, it's Jonah. So God literally told me to go to Nineveh, and I said, nope, book the ship to Tarshish instead. Let's see how that works out.
I guess the idea is that these are sort of Twitter, imagine Bible stories being part of social media. That's the sort of suggestion here. So I'll just carry on.
All right, guys, got my ticket to Tarshish. Cheaper than therapy. Just got to stay under God's radar for a bit.
Okay, not gonna lie, I think the radar picked me up. Wind's crazy, ship's shaking, and I'm starting to think God's not thrilled about this trip.
Okay, guys, quick update. I'm the reason for the storm.
They voted, I lost, and apparently the solution is...
All right, not dead. Just got swallowed by something. Smells like a wet camel in here.
Okay, yeah, I deserve this. I ran, I got swallowed, and now...
Hey guys, it's Maria. You won't believe this.
Fuck. Sorry, bro. I'm fucking clicking my.
Hey guys, it's Maria. You won't believe this. An angel.
Let's see how that works out. God's radar for a bit.
Okay, not gonna lie, I think the radar picked me up. Wind's crazy, ship's shaking, and I'm starting to think God's not thrilled about this trip.
Okay, guys, quick update. I'm the reason for the storm.
They voted, I lost, and apparently the solution is...
All right, not dead. Just got swallowed by something. Smells like a wet camel in here.
Okay, yeah, I deserve this. I ran, I got swallowed, and now I'm literally sitting in fish guts. God, I know you're watching. I'm listening now.
I just got puked out by a fish the size of a house, and I'm covered in stuff I can't even describe. But hey, fresh air. So yeah, learn my lesson. Don't run from God. Like, comment, pray, and I'll see you in Nineveh.
Hey guys, it's Maria.
Like, comment, and pray. But that's AI, bro. That's incredible. It's like that's real. It's like that could be a real person. Do you know what I mean?
Have you seen the one? There's another one that was about. There's a guy who's doing interviews with Vikings. I was trying to find it whilst you were playing it, but I can't seem to find it. Maybe next
Well,
time.
I've got a few more of them because I love them. I've looked at the whole series of what he's made. You can find that if you want, and I'll play another one. There's quite a lot of them. There's a lovely one here. I'll just open this one. This is PJ Ace. But one thing I will say, I mean, look at this. Look, I mean, okay, you can't look at it because I flipping shared it. I mean, look at the sophistication of those videos, but look how many views and comments they've got. There's very few. So it's like even our podcast, Future Shock, even though we have a very modest audience, that is no indication of the quality of what we're producing.
Of course.
Do you see what I'm saying? So everything starts with small seeds. But look at this. It's got 91 thumbs up, right? 5 comments. But yet this is like this is an amazing production. In fact, I think this is one of the most wonderful things I've seen in a long time. I'll stop yapping. I'll just play this through. If you know your biblical Old Testament prophets, this will make sense to you, and you might laugh and chuckle. And that's what God wants us to do, right? And have a good time. So let's play this. We responsibly have a good time. Okay, shall I say that? Right.
Hey everyone, Daniel here. So, the king signed a law banning prayer for 30 days. Obviously, I prayed. Let's see how that goes.
All right, guys, it's official. They're throwing me into the lion's den. I'll film what I can, Dre, and if I survive, this is gonna blow up.
All right, welcome to my crib. That one's asleep. That one's just staring at me. Honestly, they're kind of chill, but I'm whispering because I really don't want to wake the angry one.
Morning, folks. Still here, and they are too. That one's been staring at me since sunset. Starting to think they like me.
All right, made it out. Thank God, literally. If you watch till the end, comment what you think, and hey, maybe I come back if y'all want part 2.
Hey everyone, Daniel here. So,
okay, I'm going to go through a couple more, and I think they're just charming. So, bear with me. What do you think of the quality of those, though, Future Shock, as like productions, and also the modest size of the audience and such? What do you think of that AI technology? What does it make you think of?
But the thing at the moment is that it's still kind of niche, and so sorry, I'm just trying to multitask.
It is niche, isn't it? But it will take over, and people will not be ready for it, though. Do you know what I mean?
It's about finding the right thing that kind of resonates with people. But like, I can't quite find that Viking one, unfortunately. It's quite funny because basically what it is like some guy like going around like you would interview people in the street, but there's like some sort of Viking like war going on, and they're just kind of interviewing the Vikings who are involved in the war, and they're giving their opinions and stuff like this. And again, all complete AI, obviously all completely fabricated stuff, but it just looks absolutely realistic. And that's
it's really amazing. Yeah,
this is the worst it's going to be now, if you know what I mean. It's only going to
well, no, it was the worst about 2 years ago. I was showing it to my students and things like that, and it was Gordon Ramsay vomiting spaghetti. No, the first one was like Will Smith and spaghetti, wasn't it? Do you remember those days? Yeah. So this is what I'm looking for. God, okay, I have to click again because it's fucking StreamYard and it's annoying. Okay. Let's play. Is that sharing? Is that sharing? Can you see that now?
Yeah.
All
right, cool. Let's play. Yeah, I'll play it. Yeah. So this is
Good, fam. Your boy David here, about to yeet this little stone at Goliath and see what happens. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Just try again. Okay, let's just do this again. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Try again.
Good, fam. Your boy David here, about to yeet this little stone at Goliath and see what happens.
Okay, so I told y'all to trust the process, but no, y'all wanted to stay in Egypt stacking bricks.
Yo, it's Shadrach. This random dude just showed up. It's getting lit in here.
I got the horses in the back. Horse tack is attached. Hat is matte black. Got the boots that's black to match.
You know I'm a daddy's boy. He's got me in this Technicolor drip. Brother's so jelly right now. They're looking a little sus.
These Philistines thought they could flex on me. Big mistake. I just took some pre-workout and finna bring the house down.
I would like to formally apologize to God, the sailors, and this whale. Sorry, dude. Good, fam. Your boy David here, about to...
Yeah, so you get the idea. It's wonderful. I mean, yeah, you know what you notice about the AI is the main character, David, is obviously animated, but the Goliath is just a statue. That will change, I suppose. Another one is Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I'll just see if I can find that one. That's a good one. But again, it shows that the main character is animated by the AI, but that the okay. I'll just play this one. We haven't seen this one yet. Okay, but yeah, AI is just you're not gonna be able to distinguish between actors and AI ultimately, and just in a matter of months that will happen. What do you think about that?
Going to be the problem. I think we spoke about this before on a previous show in terms of like how are we going to sort of regulate it and how are we going to be able to. I mean, you're going to have some kind of, at the very least, you're going to have some kind of disclaimer or whatever that says that, oh yeah, this is AI. Otherwise,
there'll be a government law. There'll have to be some kind of thing like that, won't there? Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
A whole new world of laws that are going to be needed for this kind of thing because, and I don't know, like you're going pretty much soon. I mean, let's say within the next 5 years or so, you will be able to make your own movie as if like you had your own studio and were able to.
We'll put fucking Hollywood out of business, which can only be a good thing, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be a different. There won't be. Yeah, there will be different. You will have like your own. You will be Hollywood. You will be your own business. You will be able to do all the things that, you know. From the camera work to the music.
Funny times we're living in, you know, with the threat of war and nuclear destruction. But meanwhile, people can make cool AI videos about biblical prophets and such. I'll just play this because I like this bit, but it also illustrates the limits of AI at the moment. They can't. I don't know what. Look, this next story. Can you hear that? That's coming over okay. But that's the angel of the Lord that protected Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego from the fire that was sent to the fire. But again, it's just a still figure behind them that's not animated, and that's interesting. That so far the AI can only animate sort of principal characters or something. I don't know what the limits are, but
Oh, it's Shadrach. This random dude just showed up. It's getting lit in here. I got the horses in the.
Anyway, I think I just love that. I just love that. I think that's a lot of fun. And as a Christian, I'm all for that. You know, if you're going to promote biblical messages and have a bit of fun, but yeah. So listen, go on, Future Shock.
I was just going to say as well, just to highlight how quickly things are progressing. It was only about a month ago that it was very difficult to create videos that were over 5 seconds in one go. Yeah, obviously you could splice together 5 second after 5 second after 5 second and grow it that way. But now you just had a couple of months later, a couple of months on now, you've now got, I think it's VEO 3 or 4, something like this, which has come out where you can now do a 60-second video. So that's in a couple.
Oh, really? Oh, I need to get into that. What is that then? Because I've been using. I've been doing 5 to 8 seconds.
But it just came out about a week or two ago, just before my birthday. I remember.
Oh, well, that's just annoying. That's the thing. Once you pay for, I haven't paid for anything. I do a $10 a month. To that thing I told you about before, where you can have access to making AI videos from most of the major AI, what would you call them? I don't know, productions software. So tell me about this, please, Shock. I'll shut up for a minute. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, literally, that was all I was saying. That now it's gone from, in a couple of months, it's gone from being able to create really max like 5-10 second videos to now being able to create max 60-second videos. So now, how long is it going to be before we're going to be able to do 5 minutes, 10 minutes? This is all just in one shot. And now, obviously, now you can do 60-second videos. You can start bunching up 60 second after 60 second after 60 seconds. So the potential for making longer form stuff is already kind of like essentially 10x'd in 2 months. And so just what's going to happen this time next year or the year after? The speed at which I don't think I've ever seen. I would like to know if anyone can suggest a technology that has progressed as fast as
I know. Yeah, it's amazing. It really is incredible. What is this? Because I need to. I mean, the thing is, I say I need to subscribe to this, but I won't put a yearly subscription in because I know that the whole thing it'd be a waste of money because in a few weeks or literally weeks, I'll be able to access. So what is that service particularly? What is it called?
I think
what's the
Kling
website?
can do it. I think VO.
Oh, really? Because I'm using
VO.
Kling too, yeah. And I haven't
VO
yet got
does
that.
it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's a few. OpenAI's new video from text model can produce 60-second videos.
How much is it? Because
I don't know at the top of my head to look into that. Yeah, just have a little. When we're off air, obviously, in your own time, just have a little Google search and stuff and see.
Yeah. And we could get into that and start producing intro videos and stuff. I think that's what I'd like to do, really.
Oh yeah,
like,
definitely.
do
For that, yeah.
intro videos and such and things, you know.
Like I said before, one of the things that I quite like to do is to set music to sort of moving images and stuff like this in terms of like my music production as well. It's something I seem to be quite decent at, but I've been kind of limited by the fact that you can only do 5 seconds, 10 seconds. But now we're looking at within the next sort of, let's say 6 to 10 months or so, being able to make like sort of basically full-length videos for, let's say you've got a track that's 4 minutes long.
But ultimately, the government has to be involved. Something's going to happen where they somehow tax it or they somehow limit it, because Hollywood is going to be decimated by this, you know.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be so many.
So I've got another one. I mean, okay, you're not all Christians or whatever. I mean, I accept that, and that's fine. Well, I mean, obviously you should be, but believe in Jesus and be saved, but etc. That's anyway. Never mind. We'll move on, because this is something like more secular. This is PJ Ace again. If you look at, he's only got 3,000 subscribers, yet the work he's producing is fantastic and amazing, and it's still underground. The AI sort of videos, but this is really well produced. It's only got how many views has it got? This has got only 3,000 views, man. So, you know, it came out 2 weeks ago. You can see that. I'll play it for a minute and a half, and then we'll chat, and then we'll take a break and play some music, yeah?
What deep thoughts do you have?
So, you got a private chat for me, yeah?
Check what I put in the private chat, yeah. So
what deep thoughts do you have?
Lori got offended that I used the word puke. But to me, that's what her dinner tasted like.
Clowns aren't funny, they're kind of scary. I've wondered where this started, but I think it goes back to the time I went to the circus and a clown killed my dad.
A child's face can say a lot, especially the mouth part of the face.
A minute ago, I bit into this nectarine. It was so crisp and juicy until I realized it wasn't a nectarine at all, but a human head.
On the other hand, you have different fingers.
I have to see a nude opera, because when they hit those high notes, that
remember, this is all AI. These are not. I mean, we've had this conversation, haven't we? Future talk about AI and how it uses. And that guy fucking died. Was mysteriously died. Who was going to testify about was it OpenAI about how they're infringing copyrights, and ultimately all of these. That's the interesting thing, Rob. That all of this information, they're coming from. Are these real people? Obviously not in that situation, but there must be some source for this stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, what it does is it actually also sort of combines
aggregator. They call it an aggregator, don't they? Really, it's just like a search engine.
They may not necessarily, like say the girl who's talking now may not necessarily be real, but that face may be a sort of aggregate.
The face is real. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
3 different people. Like I've made.
I've made 3 different people. Yeah. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. Let's play this. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
You can really see it in those genitals. When I found the skull in the forest, the first thing I did was call the police. But then I started to wonder who this guy was and why did he have antlers.
I sometimes
that's fucking funny, man. It's really funny. Wow.
Imagine a peaceful world without weapons. I then imagine how easy it would be for us to invade that world.
If God dwells inside us, I sure hope he likes enchiladas, because that's what he's getting tonight. If you are falling off a building, you should go real limp, because someone might catch you, because, hey, it's a free dummy. If I ever get rich, I hope I'm not real mean to poor people, kind of like I am now.
When I pass away, I want to go peacefully in my sleep like my grandfather, not screaming and yelling like the passengers in his car.
It's sad that a family can be.
That's like a joke on the internet. That's like something someone said, isn't it?
But like you're
right. I've heard that before. I've heard that joke before.
Torn apart by something as simple as wild dogs.
If you ever drop your key,
as wild family can be torn apart by.
Oh God, flipping egg. All right, let's get back on track.
It's sad that a family can be torn apart by something as simple as wild dogs.
If you ever drop your keys in molten lava, let them go because, man, they're gone.
I find that hilarious because it's like it's just like I don't know, it's funny as fuck. It's from the internet, and the internet used to be funny. Do you remember those times when it was funny and we could say anything?
Well, that
I don't know, that's all.
could be coming back. I mean, the thing
coming
is,
back.
like the guy, I'm not sure how long that site's been going. That page has been going for. But listen, with these, especially with YouTube as well, YouTube's a long slog. I mean, 3,000 views in 2 weeks is not too bad, really. I mean, but if you're building sort of thing, so I mean,
yeah.
It's not too bad. I mean, and more and more, the thing is with AI at the moment as well, is there's a bit of a stigma around it. There's a lot of people who don't like it. There's a lot of people who are kind of against it. So you're kind of working against that as well at the same time. So it's not like everybody's embracing it and embracing, because you're right about what you just played. There's a lot of clever stuff there. It's all well generated. It's all well written and stuff like this. And it does deserve to have more. But the sheer fact, there's a lot of people who don't give a fuck about that. It's like the sheer fact that it's AI, they're against it. Do you know what I mean? It could be the most well written, well presented thing. Just because it's AI, they're like anti it. You know what I mean? So it's going to take a little while for some people to come round to it, or for enough people to come round to it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay, so I've just sent you a message in the chat. We've gone for another hour. We should play a track. Have a look at the chat. Tell me what you think.
Okay, let's do this then, because I uploaded the chat. I uploaded the song.
Your tune.
Yeah. It's about 6 minutes long. If you do play that and then
will
come back and start talking about, I think we're going to talk about Bruce Lee.
Maybe, yeah.
And then I will rejoin you in like a few minutes or so, yeah?
All right, bro. That'd be cool. I'd like you to be around. So listen, let's just chill. I'm going to try and see if I can have a 6 minute cigarette.
Yeah,
to
man,
roll
just
you
absolutely so just give me 10 minutes.
10 minutes, 6 minute track. I've got other tunes I can play if you're not available. I've got stuff. So let's go. Let's play one of your tracks. Tell us about this track, please.
So, the track is Terminus City. Yeah, I think you can see it there, right? The MP3. Terminus City. Yeah, it's a kind of like sci-fi dystopian sounding drum and bass track, which was originally going to be signed by Dread Recordings, which is quite a big A-lister drum and bass label, but it transpired that in the end it didn't get signed because I don't know. I don't want to say too much about that here, but yeah, there was some disagreements. Yeah. There were some disagreements with when it was going. Essentially, it was taking a very long time to get released, and I basically said to the guy who runs the label, "I'm going to take the track back because it looked like
bro, you're right, man."
So now it's unsigned technically. I will get it sorted out somewhere, but
so we can play this without getting fucking copyright bullshit over tracks you actually own, which is fucking annoying. But yeah, okay.
Multiple emails about it. Yeah,
we have to deal with fucking emails from these bastards who think they own your music and they don't. Yeah, annoying.
All right,
cool, man. All right, 6 minutes break. Yeah,
stick that on, and then come back, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Yeah,
nice one, bro. Cheers, man. All right, this is Future. This is our very own Future Shock, and this is Terminus City. Okay, that was Terminus City by very own Future Shock. I like that tune, and I like the title Terminus City. That is very sort of cyberpunk, very suggestive, very, very kick-ass tune. Great samples, great tune. Absolutely fantastic work from our very own Future Shock here. So I want to move on a little bit and talk about my old forum. I used to have a forum before it got like regrettably shut down, as things tended to do very recently. Like when you speak too much truth, you get shut down. But I had some interesting sort of threads on there and some interesting contributions. And I got into a thing about Bruce Lee, and I started to research because I was always a bit of a fan of Bruce Lee. I think everyone is. But the story of Bruce Lee's death, it never sat right with me. And I thought there's something going on there. So I looked into it and I sort of joined a few dots, and I sort of made my own sort of deductions about what I think's happened. I mean, there's theories that Bruce Lee was murdered, and nobody quite knows how and why and what the reasons were. And I sort of looked into it. So I recall I saved my old forum before it disappeared forever. It was True Spoon's 4D Paul. And it was pretty cool, man. We used to talk about all sorts of stuff. Joanna, you can see here, I don't know if you can see actually, but Joanna Chrome, the law of assumption. I don't know who someone contributed that. I don't quite know what we can actually, because I saved the website, we can look into that. But very interesting. But we're going to focus on the Bruce Lee thing. Obviously, adrenochrome, that's something I know about and I've talked about before. The Titanic switch theory is quite an interesting one. That was an interesting discussion. But yeah, the Bruce Lee thing is pretty interesting. I can actually interact with my old forum, which is saved as a website, and I can actually go over it and look into it. Was Bruce Lee murdered? And here's my sort of theory. So I'd been watching, I sort of did a Bruce Lee bender. I just went into just getting to the bottom of Bruce Lee and his work and what it's all about. And, you know, him as a person. He smoked a lot of weed, apparently. That was one thing Bruce Lee liked. Like, you know, so he's a good lad. We know he's on the right side because he smoked weed. Honestly, I mean, I'm not being facetious. But I mean, yeah, okay, I'm not promoting drugs either. But I don't know. I don't think you can be possibly evil and uptight if you're high and on weed, because it's like a Bill Hicks thing, isn't it? It's like, you know, like they say weed makes you a criminal. I mean, like, how can you do anything when you're on weed? No, I just want to eat pizza and chill out. I don't want to stab anyone or hurt anyone. But then there's also the association with weed causing schizophrenia and stuff. But on the contrary, I've found in my experience that schizophrenics often use weed to sort of alleviate their symptoms, actually. So it's the contrary. It's like not a causative thing, but it's rather therapeutic. Weed has been used as therapeutic for people who have schizophrenia and such. So as usual, the media deliberately misinterpret and, you know, massage and, you know, fiddle with the facts, which is what they want to do. So I'd watched, that was a particular weekend. This was back in 2017. So I spent a weekend watching Bruce Lee movies. The movies produced in his life. And of course, one was produced posthumously 6 years after his death. The main movies were Way of the Dragon, The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, Enter the Dragon, and Game of Death. Game of Death was the one that was produced posthumously, which is at least the title is very suggestive. Game of Death, and Bruce Lee, of course, was dead at this point. Enter the Dragon was, this might be common knowledge to some of you, Enter the Dragon was his only Hollywood film, the movie which made him a household star and a household name. Actually, he died before it was even released, which is absolutely insane. Can you imagine? His big Hollywood movie, and he died before it was even released in strange circumstances. Where things get strange is that these were precisely the same circumstances which happened to his son Brandon Lee, who died in a strange accident during the filming of The Crow, which I'm sure some of you know about. Bruce Lee's death was apparently explained by a sedative drug reacting with a muscle relaxant Lee had been taking in 1968 for a crushed disc. And yeah, I know. I mean, muscle relaxants can be addictive and such. But I mean, obviously, Bruce Lee, in his position, with his sort of arduous physical regime and everything, you can well imagine that he might need, despite him being Bruce Lee, he was on sort of muscle relaxant, sort of, potentially sort of somewhat happy pills as well. But anyway, listen, let's not get too facetious. There's more to this story. Something strange and sinister is at work. For instance, after his death, the film Game of Death, which was released, it promoted, if you've seen the film Game of Death, it's amazing. It uses footage of Bruce Lee from an unfinished film, which I think was called Game of Death, which was intended to be am I right about that? Yeah, I think I'm right about that. Which is also so anyway, yeah, it was also used as the sort of idea behind a video game, an arcade game, where you climb, you have to defeat bosses on various levels. One of the earliest, what was that? I wish Rob was here. Future was here. He'd be able to tell us what it was called. Where you could, you'd go through the levels and fight the bad guys, and then you'd ascend the staircase until you got to the top. And this is sort of based on the idea of Game of Death, which is what the plan was for Game of Death. So the idea is in Game of Death that Bruce Lee had become such a star. This is actually the movie. It's a conspiracy theory. The movie promotes a conspiracy theory about Bruce Lee's death, and it seems to echo the truth, which is really uncanny. So the idea was that Bruce Lee had become a star, but he'd been asked to sign up with a sinister organization known as the Syndicate, which suggests the Illuminati to me anyway, right? So the principal representative of the Syndicate is Dean Jagger. Dean Jagger, he's the actor who played the kind of bald Aleister Crowley lookalike who played Chad Harmon in the Brotherhood of the Bell. So if any of you are out there into Freemasonry, well, not into Freemasonry, but into exposing and investigating Freemasonry and secret societies, the film Brotherhood of the Bell is an amazing film that you have to watch. So in a sense, he's playing the exact same role in the film. Dean Jagger is playing the same kind of character, the Aleister Crowley kind of Freemason Illuminati character he played in Brotherhood of the Bell, and he's the guy who asks Bruce Lee to join the Syndicate. Bruce Lee's appearance in the film Game of Death is limited to 20 minutes, to just a 20-minute scene at the end of the film, which is based on the original film, I think, which was Game of Death, which he died before he could complete. In the interim, Bruce Lee is played by Bao Yuan. I mean, I've got this written down because I can't remember all the facts. Bao Yuan, who is like the fake Bruce Lee, he's often cast in shadow, wears dark glasses, so it's not obvious he's not Bruce Lee. And he wears a motorcycle helmet to hide his lack of resemblance to Bruce Lee. The plot of the film is that Bruce Lee, Bao Yuan, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, I'm probably not. Bruce Bao Yuan, he refuses to join the Syndicate. And for this reason, after failing to be intimidated by the henchmen, plans are made to murder him while filming his new movie, which is exactly what happened to Bruce Lee. He died, murdered, whatever your theory, what my theory is, he was murdered during the filming of the game. It's so uncanny. It's absolutely weird. The second strange coincidence here is, well, there's many, but the method of the attempted assassination in the film Game of Death mirrors the actual circumstance of Brandon Lee's death, namely of being killed by a live bullet during a stunt involving being shot at point blank range. It's so insane. It's just beyond. I mean, listen. Listen. That's on a postcard. Why and how? But I mean, for me, it's like this film predicted Brandon Lee's death. It's bizarre. Whether the film Game of Death was attempting to explain the truth of Lee's death cannot be ascertained. But the use of the actual footage of Bruce Lee, Bruce Lee's own funeral is actually filmed, which I don't know. I mean, that's incredible. It was Bruce Lee's real funeral, which was used in the film to show that the Bruce Lee character had sort of gone underground and was still alive, but it was a fake funeral so he could escape from the syndicate. He uses this as a ruse to escape and track down the syndicate. It gives a very strange feeling that there's more to this story than meets the eye. And what happened to his son Brendan? Is it possible? Here's my sort of question: is it possible that Bruce Lee and possibly Brandon Lee were both murdered? Yeah, on the verge of superstardom for refusing to sign a deal with the Illuminati. So that's it, isn't it? That's the core, that Bruce Lee didn't sell out or somehow refused to, go to the next level with the Illuminati to be made a Hollywood star. And for that, he was killed. And yeah, I mean, I got some response from I've got a friend there who responded on my forum. The original Game of Death, which Lee worked on while alive, was different to the one eventually released. The Game of Death was supposed to be, I think, original story had nothing to do with the murder of a kung fu star, but was about ascending to the top floor of a Korean temple after beating different foes. Are you back, Future Shock? Are you there?
I am. Yeah. This is.
I want to know what that video game was called, where you fight. It was a 1980s video game. And you fight the baddies going left, and you climb the stairs, and then you turn right, and I really want to know what. I wish someone would tell me what that game was called. Kung Fu Master. It was Kung Fu Master. It was Kung Fu Master. Okay. I'm just going to triple check that, but I think it was Kung Fu Master. But that video game is based on the idea of. I mean, listen, you've got to be of a certain age to remember Kung Fu Master at the arcades, and then it was converted to all the home system. Kung Fu Master, which is exactly like the story of Game of Death. So anyway, listen, I'm going to continue a little bit with this. It's pretty cool. The posthumous Game of Death. This was the Game of Death, which was filmed after Lee's death. It features footage from Bruce Lee. But no actual plot scenes. It was filmed with 2 stand-ins for Bruce Lee. The film opens with Bruce Lee's fight scene with Chuck Norris from Way of the Dragon, because that was Way of the Dragon, where he fights Chuck Norris at the Coliseum. You seen that, Future Shock? Are you a Bruce Lee fan? You particularly?
I'm trying to think. I probably have a very long time ago. I don't remember, though. I don't really remember. I've got to be honest. I'm just liking this side.
Bruce Lee, okay. Thing is, like I said, I saw these all movies as kids, but then I looked into it and watched them all, and I thought, what the hell's going on here? So the scene, this is really cool, though. So the scene from Game of Death, it starts with the scene in Way of the Dragon where he's fighting Chuck Norris in the Coliseum. And the scene from the movie ends and the director yells cut, and then we see edited shots of Bruce Lee combined with a stand-in film mock-up of the Roman Colosseum set. Now, what I believe is that for whatever reason, this is the story of Bruce Lee and the real reason of his death. The film was co-written by Lee before he died, obviously. We don't know how much Lee actually wrote. Produced by his longtime Hong Kong collaborator producer Raymond Chow, who specially hired Enter the Dragon director Robert Klaus to co-write and direct the film. Lee's friend and co-star Bob Wall and fight choreographer Sammo Hung were also called in to help with the film. It was released by Lee's Golden Harvest Films and which was Lee's Hong Kong production company. Worked on all his previous films before Enter the Dragon, which was Warner Brothers. Enter the Dragon was his big Hollywood movie, of course. Seems to me that all of the people who worked on and produced and released Game of Death were all people who had been instrumental in Lee's film career all along, possibly were his friends and supporters, we don't know. But would Bruce Lee's friends and professional associates from Hong Kong create a macabre spectacle and include footage of Lee's own funeral within the film if only to milk a few dollars from his legacy? Or, this is my theory, is it likely that as his friends, they wanted to tell the real story of Bruce Lee's murder? Did they take it upon themselves to spill the beans for the sake of a dearly missed friend? I find that a very interesting, very uncanny, full of synchronicity, full of Illuminati weirdness. I mean, what do you think? What do you think? I mean, I know you're eating. I mean, what are you finished? What did you have?
I have finished eating. But the True Spoon 4D portal is always quite a nice sight to see as well, by the way, because
it doesn't exist anymore. I had to save it. So, do you know what I mean? I don't know.
You can't access it now. It's not like
no, it's not. It's not on the internet. No, it got shut down. You know how everything's got shut down, man. I got banned, so I'm kind of proud of that. Actually, you know, I was one of the people who were banned, so I've earned my battle scars in the truth war, right?
There was some damn good threads in there. I mean, I can't remember what I used to call myself at the time, but there's quite a few threads there of me trying to understand hyperspheres and things like that. And you trying to explain it to me and being relatively patient with the
thanks, man. Hyperspheres and stuff. Yeah, it was such a cool little forum. I mean, it wasn't big, but we had some nice people, and they're interested in it. Especially you, Future Shock. You were really you're really into it. You know, you're open-minded and ready to sort of like whatever may happen, whatever goes. You know, I'll take it on. Open to possibilities. And I find,
one part of it which was more about because obviously there was lots of different subsections, wasn't there? And there was one part of it which was just more all like dedicated to the 4D stuff, which is I know it's obviously called True Spoon's 4D portal, but there was other different kind of sections, wasn't there? If I remember rightly. Can you scroll down and show it? Can you scroll?
I can. I'm just gonna try and. I don't even know I'm sharing anymore, man. I'm a bit lost now. I'm just lost in Windows, man. I'm sharing something, but I don't even know what it is.
It can be a bit much. I mean, I remember.
It is much. It's too much, man. I've lost the plot now.
It is a bit like when you're trying to do it between things really quickly. Because when I do my football one thing I do is I go on Twitter and I'm just like going through some of the silly comments that are on Twitter and doing a bit of mockery as well as like just keeping up to date with the news and stuff. And I'm trying to do that, and I'm trying to flip between other like sites as well. And it just, you have to kind of you have to kind of get on top of it. It is quite tricky.
I'm going to try and access some of that stuff from the forum. Oh, okay. Hang on. Let's share. That might be it. So, because it's friggin' streaming, I'd have to click again, which is super annoying. Can you let me know? Is this scroll? I'm going to scroll. Is it scrolling? Can you see that? Is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, nice. Is it working?
Yeah. So.
Oh, very cool. So we can see all the stuff. So I had a thing about quantum physics and 4D. Look at that, yeah. So because I have saved the website, I've sort of saved the threads and stuff. So you had a thing about 4D access. Was that you?
Oh, it was actually Future Shock. There we go. So I haven't really changed the originality of my name too much since then.
Oh yeah, there you are. Yeah. So I posted this thing about Joe Rogan
about the mushrooms. Yeah. So this is.
I could actually play that. Oh yeah, you sent the link to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, this is actually quite a long story, but I mean, it is quite. I don't know how long exactly. We could play it maybe if it's not too much, but
yeah, I don't think Joe Rogan sues people for. Should I play that? Okay, let's see.
Hello, freak bitches. But if you look at the multiverse, and I've had one or two in particular multiverse experiences where time and reality has changed in a way that I cannot explain. It's so.
What do you mean?
It's so incredibly profound that I still cannot wrap my mind around it. And
these are psilocybin experiences?
Psilocybin experience. So I think the psilocybin experience might be one portal, and now I'm going to sound like Terrence McKenna, of entering into the multiverse. The idea that time can be bent, that there are multiple universes occurring simultaneously in different realities. And I've had one experience in particular that is just unfathomable to me, I don't know how to explain it.
Give it a shot.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. And
You've already blown my mind
This is-
apart
this is-
150 times today.
this is a very deeply personal experience to me, but I was going to the Evergreen State College. I had the Drug Enforcement Administration license. My brother John went to Yale University. He got a graduate scholarship in neurophysiology at the University of Washington. He came out to Washington State in Seattle. I was living in Olympia, Washington. I had a cabin up in the mountains near Darrington, Washington. Then the summertime for 3 years, I set chokers. I was a logger. I really believe in the school of hard knocks and the blending of academia with blue collar hard work. I love chopping wood. I love running a chainsaw. I love hard labor. I think it gives my mind some respite to be able to think. So I'm in this highly academic environment. My brother John he died unfortunately 2 years ago. He got me involved in mushrooms. So I'm going to segue and set the stage here, but I need another 2 minutes to set the stage here. So I'm growing up in a small town in Ohio called Columbiana. My brother John is going to Yale. He comes back one day, and he gives me a book that he's using for his class, but he's on break. And he says, and I'm really fascinated. Now, John went to Mexico, Colombia, came back with great stories of eating psilocybin mushrooms, and he's my older brother. I just idolized him. And he has a book called Altered States of Consciousness. And so I said, John, can I borrow your book? He said, sure. And I said, but Paul, I need it back. After my break is over, I'm going back to college. This is part of our textbook. So I borrowed his book, Altered States of Consciousness, and I'm just fascinated reading it, about all these different ways of expanding your consciousness. I'm 14 years of age. And so my best friend, Ryan Snyder, says, Paul, can I borrow your book? We're hanging together all the time. And I go, yeah, but I need it back. And so he borrows my book, and he doesn't return it. A day, several days pass, a week pass, 2 weeks pass. My brother's coming back on break. He said, I needed that book back, Paul. And I go to Ryan. I go, Ryan, I need my book. And Ryan just kept on avoiding answering the subject until I said, finally, give me my book. And Ryan goes, I can't give it to you, Paul. I said, why? He says, my dad burned it. I said, your dad burned my brother's book? I go, WTF. I didn't use this phrase back then. I said, oh my God. And I have a shout out to Ryan Snyder's father, that because of that event, it stimulated my interest in altered states of consciousness even more. So John goes to Yale and goes to the University of Washington. I have this DEA permit. I'm at the Evergreen State College. John calls me up. And he says, Paul, I think I found some psilocybin mushrooms. John said, you're really smart. You've been collecting Psilocybe cubensis in Colombia and Mexico, but they're much more complicated up here. And I said, let me ask you a few questions. I said, okay, John, do you take a spore print? And he goes, yes. And I go, is the spores purple-brown? And he goes, yes, they are purple-brown. I go, good. Okay. John, does it have a separable gelatinous pellicle? And he goes, what's that? And I go, well, break the cap. These are growing on wood chips. Break the cap and separate the cap very slowly. Do you see a little skin that's translucent? And he breaks it and he goes, yeah, I see that skin. I said, John, they're growing on wood chips. And he goes, yes. I go, are they turning bluish? He goes, yes, they're staining really bright blue. I go, wow. I said, John, how many did you find? He goes, you would not believe it. It's a huge amount. I said, wait. I said, but he said, Paul, they're in a very sensitive place. You better come up here right away.
Oh, sorry. Did you want to say something?
No, I was just, we could just be commenting just very slightly as we go, as it goes along. But I was just saying that, when they're blue, that's very good. That does mean that they're a stronger version.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, exactly. Blue mushrooms usually have psilocybin. Yeah. When they're exposed to air when you cut them. Yeah.
Especially they're the stronger ones as well.
Have you seen this before? Do you remember this story?
Oh yeah, I remember. This is one of my favorite. I think if this is
continue with it,
this is one of my favorite ones. It's certainly worth playing through.
Continue, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is free. This is what? This is fair use, transformative, educative, discussive. We're just free use.
Yeah, there's only 5 minutes of it left anyway. And
Rogan, he's all right.
Crazy story.
Cool. So I jumped in my car and I drove up from Olympia to Seattle, about 60, 70 miles. I get to his house and John's there and I go, well, where are we going? He goes, well, we need some grocery bags, and let's get on our bikes. and let's go down there. I go, well, why all the secrecy? And the problem is, well, you'll see. And it was the end of Boat Street, and right at the University of Washington, right off of University Avenue, there's Boat Street, and we get there, and right across the street is a police substation. So we're there, and there was an eruption of this mushroom. There had to be 10,000, 30,000 mushrooms. I don't know. It was about 50 feet by 30 feet. With all been mulched with wood chips. There was an eruption that picked up, trash and debris that picked up 6 inches. It was solid mushrooms. There are mushrooms everywhere. I've to this day never seen so many mushrooms in one concentrated area. So we waited till the police cars went away, and we're kind of idling there. And then the police cars would go away in front of the substation. We'd start picking mushroom, and we fill up a groceries bag or two. And then the other students are walking by. What are you doing? Oh, nothing. And then we eventually go, yeah, there's plenty for everybody. So and so it was like pretty soon everyone's all hanging out as a little group, like at the bus stop, right? We're not really waiting for the bus, right? We're waiting for the police cars to go away.
Right.
And then we picked all these mushrooms. And so we got about 8 or 10 grocery bags full of these mushrooms.
So bizarre.
It turned out to be a new species called Psilocybe strunzii, named after
a new species.
It's new species.
Oh my God! New as in hadn't been discovered before.
Had
you
never
guys
been described in
them?
the scientific literature before.
So you picked a mushroom that no one knew existed before, hadn't been
described scientifically. We had known about it for about 3 years, but this is the largest eruption, and from that collection became part of of the type collection that anchored the species taxonomically. So I think some of the specimens still exist in herbaria around the world because it's the reference standard. So we go back to the house, and it's like, we got to dry them. So we lay out newspapers, and the whole newspapers were just covered with mushrooms. Wow. And so that night, we just about 4 guys from Yale, all neurophysiology, all scientists, on the scientist track, and let's eat them. And so, this is not very potent. They're 1/10 the potency of cubensis, so we made smoothies.
This is quite strong.
And oh my gosh, talk about the gag reflex. So we had to make these smoothies. We had to eat 50 of them in order to have a dose equivalent to what Psilocybe cubensis would be. So I knew that. So we made these incredible.
Did you want to say something? I think that
I think anyone who's tried mushrooms before is obviously aware of the horrendousness of
gag reflex. Yeah.
The idea of having them in this smoothie. We used to do them in omelets. The problem with doing them in I
actually like mushrooms. I mean, they're very chewy. That's the thing that gets me, is that they're so chewy, right?
The smoothie is actually practically not that bad an idea. What we
I just chew them.
Yeah, well, we got to the point where we were going, when they were legal back in the good old days, when they were basically you'd go down to Camden and buy them. We would get so many so often that the resistance would be doubling and tripling as the months went by. So you'd had to have so many. What we would do is put them in omelets. The problem with that is it's okay for a little bit, but then the mushrooms start to take effect, and you're basically
omelets egg is heavy stuff, man. You know what I mean?
And then you're looking down at a plate full of half-eaten mushroom omelet with tomatoes.
You're better off just stuffing them and chomping them up, because if you chomp them up dry or fresh, then you don't. They don't have. It's like sublingual. Is it sublingual? Is that what I'm thinking of?
The thing is,
it goes straight. It goes through your saliva and your tongue. And you don't. It doesn't. It gets quicker. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of.
To be honest with you, if I were to do something like that now, it would be such an issue because my resistance would be so low. But at that point, we were having 80 grams, so that's quite a lot.
Grams. Yeah, it's a big mouthful, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
anyway, he's got a few minutes of his story left.
Let's go.
Crazy, man. Let's have a listen.
We've all got mushroom stories, haven't we, bro? I've got a few.
Probably distasteful milkshakes, and we chugged them and we drank them. And then amazing experience. I bonded with my brother. It was beautiful. And then you're peeking at this experience. You look around and there's tens of thousands of these mushrooms. Oh my gosh. All for science. And so I go to bed.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm laying in bed and full blown experience, and can barely sleep because all the colors are keeping me awake and my mind is racing. And then I have a lucid dream. And I'm dreaming, and I wake up, and I go downstairs, and I go, I had this crazy dream. I said, and what's your dream? And I said, I saw thousands of cattle dead, baking in the sun. I said, I think there's going to be a nuclear war. But what could kill all these cattle? You know, there's a time of the Reagan administration and all that, and you know the tension was really high between the Soviet Union and the United States. And they said, and they were joking with me, saying, "Oh, well, okay, you know, what's going to happen?" I go, "I know. I was in Olympia, and I needed to rush up to Darrington to stay in my cabin because my books were up there, my manuscript was up there. I need to save my research." So they laughed and they laughed. They said, "Well, when's the world going to end, Paul?" And I go, "Well, it's not this weekend. That was like in 2 days. It's next weekend." So they wrote on the calendar, December 1st. I put it in my book. I think it's 1975, the end of the world. They wrote, "Paul predicts the end of the world." So we forgot about it. Massive rains the next week, huge amounts of snowfall. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, temperature inversion, and it flipped to 75 to 85 degrees. All the snow started to melt.
Oh, right.
All the rivers were flooding. And my little cabin was right next to this river that would swell from day to from morning to night. It would go up 6 feet just from the snow melt, because it's very close to this volcano and big glaciers. I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my manuscript, all my research. I need to get up there. I need to get up there." And so I'm watching the news, and the roads are being closed. So I had to go through Rockport, Washington, the back way in order to get back to my cabin. I get to my cabin, and the bank had eroded about 10 feet. I was only about 10, 12 feet away from the river now. My cabin was on the verge of falling into it, but I got my manuscript. I got all my books. You know, I rescued all the material I had, but I couldn't get out of there because the roads had been closed. And so I had to wait 2 days, and the roads then opened up, and I drove out of the valley into the Snohomish Valley, and I went around the bend, and there the sun, it was a brilliant sunny day, a warm day, and there floating in the fields were hundreds and hundreds of dead cattle.
Yeah. Whoa.
How do you explain that?
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, it's cool.
I entered, I think, into the multiverse.
That's incredible, right? Yeah.
Now, as a scientist, you realize when you say something like that, you open yourself up to ridicule. Do you feel hesitant to communicate these ideas?
Well, to a degree, yes. But, you know, I'm 62 years of age, and, you know, at one point, I just don't care. I just don't care. You know, this is true. This happened to me. And I can push the envelope on these ideas because the credibility of my research is well established. I can save the bees. Do you care whether I have taken psilocybin mushrooms, if I can save your farm, your family, your country, or the world billions of dollars and protect biosecurity?
I care more.
I care more. That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you things. I'm not making these up. I don't have to.
I just wondered.
But just because
you can
can't
tell,
explain
you know,
it,
he's telling the truth anyway, right? I mean, it's just everything about.
Doesn't it also, funnily enough, tie in kind of what we were talking about before, in a way, in the betting when we were talking a bit about the bets and the chaos theory, and that that is something that science can't explain, essentially.
And he's a scientist. I mean, Paul Stamets. I'm not familiar with him, but you know, I mean, what does he do?
I'm not sure if he's technically. Is he a scientist? He's a mycologist, I think.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
So that's obviously like a mushroom expert kind of thing.
I've seen any stuff. Yeah. So for research, as he said, he's all over. He's a big guy, man. He's all over the internet. I'll play the rest of that. Is there a bit more? I'll play a bit, and then I'm just doing a bit.
Basically, that's it. That's the story. Basically.
Oh, is that it? The rest is just.
It's just a crazy story that he had that premonition, essentially.
Cool. Yeah.
I mean,
American mycologist. Yeah. Excuse me.
I was just going to say, like, I mean, I suppose a very scientific person.
He's got books. He got books. He's got books, guy. He's got books. He's a fun guy. He's a fun guy to be with.
No doubt.
No doubt. Fun guy. He's a big fungus guy. He's got loads of flipping books. Oh my god, he's got loads of mushroom books. I should share this. I'll actually share what I'm looking at about Paul Stamets.
Yeah, people should look up. If they don't know about Paul Stamets, they should definitely look up this guy because he's got about 3 or 4 interviews on Rogan's show. Obviously on many other shows as well. Just put him into YouTube and watch his interviews. He's fascinating.
Cool. Yeah, that's a cool story, man. So that was the forum, man. We talked about 4D stuff, which is what I'm into, the fourth dimension. So there's the super void. I forgot about that. No one's talking about the super void. I couldn't. I was trying to think about that the other day. That we live in a dark corner of the universe, of the galaxy, but we live in a super void. I was saying like our backwardsness and lack of wisdom as a species, our lack of real This is what you were saying, Future Shock, because you were getting last week. You were on about extraterrestrial civilization. How come we haven't contacted aliens? Well, some people think we have or whatever. And you were saying about the universe. What do you remember that sort of?
We had a conversation, I think, about the Fermi paradox, didn't we? Where it was kind of like, well, where are the aliens? Well, I mean, they're probably
where are the aliens? Yeah, where are they?
But there is quite a lot of space still to explore, so I don't think we can really kind of go, well, there's no aliens because we ain't seen them yet. I don't think it's.
But listen, this is what I discovered. I don't even know if that website's still going. Our Milky Way galaxy lies. Well, our Milky Way galaxy lies inside the universe's largest super void. I'll just go into a bit more. I don't remember what I wrote. I do remember the super void though. At the largest scales, our Milky Way galaxy is in the middle of nowhere. Ever since what's this? We don't occupy a central point in the universe. 2013, a study showed that we may be further out in the boondocks than we imagined. A new study confirms it. We live in a void in the filamental structure of the universe, a void that is bigger than we thought. In 2013, a study by the University of Wisconsin-Madison astronomer Amy Barger and her student Ryan Keenan showed that our Milky Way galaxy is situated in a large void in the cosmic structure. The void contains far fewer galaxies, stars, and planets than we thought. Now, a new study from Ben Hoscheit confirms it. At the same time, eases some of the tension between different blah blah blah. The void has a name. It's called KBC void. This is named after Keenan Barger and the University of Hawaii Lennox Cowie, KBC void. It has a radius of 1 billion light years. The KBC void is 7 times larger than the average void. It's the largest void we know of. What do you make of that, Future Shock? We live in a super void. Our galaxy in a super void.
With the things like the James Webb Telescope, are we not can't these things be debunked? I don't understand. What's it trying to say? Sorry, that we're living in a void that's sort of very relatively sparse of galaxies. Is that?
Yes, that's exactly what they're saying. Yes,
I know what we were. I know we were saying the other day that Earth itself.
Well, not only that, but we live in the Western. In fact, I think what was it? You're Douglas Adams fan. Did he not say that the Earth is situated in the unfashionable western spiral arm of the Milky Way? Yeah, and where you look. Where we are in this galaxy in the Milky Way, we are in the backwards part of the Milky Way galaxy where there's just no fun. It's like we live in the shitty suburbs of the bustling city in the center of the galaxy, and all the action is happening without us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think if you see those pictures,
not only that, but we live within a void in that galaxy. We're in a void within that, with few stars and galaxies around us.
If you see those photos where Earth's location is in the Milky Way, I think that kind of basically backs up what they're saying. Because, I can't. Yeah. If you can maybe let me see if I can share this.
I'm doing it too. You share something. I'm trying to find the Earth's position in the galaxy, but it's like what's the unfashionable western spiral arm of the Milky Way or something, as Douglas Adams put it.
What's it doing? Mad shit now. Hang on. Where's that? Is that you or me? That's
what's
you.
What? Oh, am I sharing this? Well, am I still sharing my? No, I'm not sharing. I'm not. Yeah. What?
Hang on. Well, that was me. I managed to do.
What are you doing? I don't know what you did. Did you do something?
Well, I actually managed to share something which surprises me because I'm a guest.
Do it again.
Right, hang on a second. What I was trying to share is just the actual picture, and it starts.
Right, I'm going to remove this, so now it's open to you. I think you can share something, right?
Let me just bear with me 1 second. Just bear with me 1 second.
Oh my god, I've got a bad back now. I'm going to have to change my position.
I need to get the bit The thing is, it's from it was on Google Image, and it's now just taking me to a YouTube video. And oh, hang on, is that it? All right, no, that doesn't really do it either. Yeah, sorry, hang on, you might have to sort of. Did you manage to find a picture?
I'm just Orion Arm. The Earth is located in the Milky Way galaxy in one of its spiral arms called the Orion Arm. Our solar system is about halfway from the galactic center to the edge of the Milky Way. So, gosh, we're halfway to nowhere. Oh my God, this is a good picture. I wonder if that's accurate. That's pretty cool.
If you could share that,
I want to share this if I could. Yeah. Oh God, it's a video. Oh God. Oh. No, I'll probably get done for copyright. No, that's not going to work.
That's strange that I was able to share sound, but not this. If you see, I put in the chat. I put not in the chat, but in the kind of like background backstage. I put a little image here that demonstrates.
Did you post something backstage? Did you?
You can see it. You add it to the...
Oh yeah, cool. Okay, got it. There it is. Oh, nice one. That was what I was looking for. Yeah, I was looking for something like that.
So it kind of sums up what Adams is meaning. Yeah, because we're not, we're not where the action is, are we?
No, not where the action is. No, the disco, the eternal disco light party in the center of the universe, where everyone's just.
You can also sort of see to the right of us as well. If you look,
we're struggling with duality here, man. We're backwards, man. We ain't got unity yet, you know.
But we're tumbling into it, so we
tumbling into it.
It's just going to take us a little bit of time to get there.
We're tumbling around. We'll get there in the end. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's the idea. I mean, in a few billion years, we'll make it into. We'll make it to the. It's like a queue. It's like a queue for the nightclub, but it's like a billion-year queue.
Then you get there and it says, "Yeah, your name's not down. You're not coming in." Sorry.
Yeah,
but it's like you're. But it's like, yeah. So, but it's that with the tumbling theory, that's kind of what it is, isn't it? That things that are at the center of galaxies are kind of whatever is at the center of a galaxy is acting as a kind of attractor, which is causing everything to tumble towards it. And then obviously the galaxies that are bigger
are tumbling towards the attractor, the great attractor at 2 million kilometers a mile, an hour or something, right?
Yeah. And then there are just these attractors all over space, i.e., the universe. So
Jack Hole. Jack Hole. Yeah. I'm not going to say any more about Jack Hole because I remember a few Irish lads and what they used to say about. Anyway, you know where I'm going with that. But anyway, Jack Hole. Anyway, so
I mean, like Jack Hole. Like, if you look up Jack Hole, I don't think they. I don't know.
I don't think you should look up Jack Hole. I don't know what you find, but
I don't know if it's a standard scientific term as such, but yeah. There we go. But yeah,
right. Jack Hole. What is Jack Hole? There is a Jack Hole is actually a technical explosive term for blasting, actually. So, Jack Hole is a somewhat obnoxious or contemptible person. But you coined him. You discovered Jack Hole completely accidentally. But
what was the thing that we discovered that there was even beyond the great attractor? There was something, the supercluster. Beyond the great attractor, there's even something else. I can't remember what it was called now. That's it, the Shapley supercluster. So essentially the great attractor is a massive concentration of galaxies exerting a gravitational pull on the Milky Way and other galaxies, and then there's apparently something beyond the great attractor that's referred to as the Shapley supercluster, which is an apparently even more massive amount of galaxies even further away that are also pulling on everything else. So how
Jack got his hole.
Sorry, I think there's somewhere in there is Jack Hole being a nuisance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, okay, man. Listen, we did 3 hours, bro. We did this nice shift we put in, man. 3 hours is. I think a 3 hour show is a pretty cool one. Do you know what I mean?
3 or 4 is good, man. The numbers have been decent on X as well. Notice as well.
Yeah, the numbers are nice now. I like that. I like our numbers now. I like it. It's pretty cool.
What we are considering doing is doing. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we are considering doing something more in kind of like weeknight on a weeknight evening type time. As
evenings are good, I think. You know.
But we shall confirm that anyway in future. So
yeah.
But thanks. So I guess we're kind of going to wrap up in a sec. Then
we're going to say good night, aren't we? Yeah.
But yeah. Cheers for everyone who's been listening. So we've got quite a few listeners on X, especially. So yeah, man, pop over to the YouTube channel. It is True Shock, and give it a like and subscribe and share. And
please.
We'll
say something.
True. I think you post about our shows that are forthcoming on X, don't you? As Truthspoon. So follow Truthspoon for information
also,
about that.
Truthspoon.com is my website, and there's lots of interesting articles and stuff on that. So Truthspoon.com is my website, and obviously Truth Shock. You're here. You know who I am. You know what's going on. Don't really need to tell you, really, but yeah. So cool, man. Yeah. So what? It's nice. It's funny because we're doing a show on Tuesday, but because we're doing a show, it feels like Sunday. So I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just confused about what day it is. It's Monday tomorrow.
It's good that it's not Monday tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? So I'm happier that it's Wednesday tomorrow than Monday tomorrow. Let me put it that way.
The night I'm presently like I've got a lot of free time, and I'm doing stuff like research and writing and stuff. And it's nice when you just don't know what day it is and you just don't care anymore. Just don't give a fuck what day it is, But when obviously I work, and it's when you work, you fucking very finely attuned to the day of the week, and it's so kind of tedious. Like fuck, it's Monday. Oh, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh, Wednesday is the middle. It's the bridge. Let's make it to Friday, and it's that constant sort of quest for the weekend.
I think also
when when the days no longer have any identity, it's like quite nice. Every day is like Saturday.
Kind of goes back to what we were saying a little bit earlier, I think right at the start of the show, whereby in fact, I think we were saying it backstage in terms of like sort of when you we were having a little chat about kind of like birthday celebrations and drinking celebrations and stuff like that. And we were having a bit of a chat about how like when people are just sort of more chronic drinkers and that it kind of simplifies life a little bit. I think it is important if you're someone who is in a 9 to 5 to have a side hustle, something that you need to do when you get back home. So then you're not so much just like counting on a weekend or a Friday, and you're not so much not looking forward to Monday because you might have to go back to your 9 to 5, but you're still going to do your music work or your whatever your side hustle.
Right, then. That's the real you, isn't it? That's the real you. It's like you've got to have a real identity outside of work.
Yeah,
and you got to focus on that. And like work is something you have to do, and sometimes it goes well, sometimes it goes badly, whatever. But that's not the real you. You've got your side hustle. That's what you're devoting yourself to, and you're just working to allow you to give you the money and ability to survive and live in wherever you're living, so you can do what you really want to do. And everyone, we should all have something on the side we want to do, and a little project or something just keep us going,
Because everyone's got that in them to do that.
Yeah.
Like no matter what kind of person you are, what kind of background, whatever it is, you've got that thing that you can do. Like I'm not saying necessarily better than everyone in the world, but something you can really monetize that you can do without having to do a 9 to 5 job you don't want to do. So
that's it. The goal is to try and get out of that. Yeah, exactly.
If you haven't found it yet, try and find that flame and then just go with it.
Cool, man. Yeah, listen, we're welcome to guests. Anyone out there wants to get on the show, you can contact me on my website on truthspoon.com. You can send me a message. There's a little message box halfway down. Just scroll the website and send me a message if you want to be on the show or just anything, like send some information or get on the show for a bit. Some of these people, some YouTubers have phone numbers, don't they? We could literally at some point in the future we'll have a burner phone or something, won't we? We'll give a phone number.
If people want to, what we can do is we can give them the link to jump on. We would.
Oh yeah, that'll be the plan. That's how you do it. Yeah.
We can have maximum like up to 10 people, so we've got quite a lot of space to play with. Obviously, if people want to jump on and just chat as well about it, if they've got something they want to present, they're interested to hear you and me talk about and discuss, then that's ideal. Really, we want it to be a discussion, like of any information you want. Really, completely open forum, and let's just let's try and figure shit out, basically.
Exactly, bro. That's what we're here for, man. Because the whole fucking pantomime out the side of your window is just all bullshit. The media and that, it's the pretend misery game. They're just going to make you unhappy, and it's artificial, and it's all like a construct between them because they're all on the same side. Like Putin and the so-called enemies, and even Iran and all this. It's all fake. They're all working for the same force. They're all misery makers. They're all just distracting us and making us miserable, and that's their goal. Maybe they don't even know they're doing it, but that's what they do, and it's just the attempt is to drag down our immortal human soul, our light, our brightness, and just dim that, and just make us fucking machines and miserable little units, economic commercial units serving the machine. But we're so much more than that, and we need to break out of that ridiculous fucking virtual pantomime. People watching TV, EastEnders, guys, just watching BBC News. Fucking hell, man! It's just like horror, man. It's like they are just like polluting our soul and just, I don't know, man. It's like that movie, The Dark Crystal. It's like just sucking the life out of every human being. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? Before we go, do you know that this is going to sound? This is going to be a very, very sad admission, right? The Dark Crystal is one of the first. Okay, so they showed it when I was at school. God knows how old I was. I must have been about very young, maybe single digit, probably. And that used to scare the hell out of me. The weird animation of it. I'm not afraid. I would cover my eyes watching that as a little kid.
It's so fucking dark. It's really dark. Them, what were they called? The Skeksis, and what were the other ones? The little innocent little fluffy
I
things.
purposely just forgot everything about them.
And they suck the essence out of them. And that's what's going on in this world. If you see what's happening to us as human beings, as like what we can be, and we're just all being like, we're all doing well. We do well as humans because we're resilient. God made us resilient, so we do laugh and we do know what's going on. But so many people are afraid and got the weight of expectations from other people to perform at work and to fulfill their duties and such. But they get sucked into this sort of illusion, this pantomime. But like you say, do a side hustle, just have a project on the side, just write your own thoughts, just do something, and it makes you feel better, man. You know what I mean? It puts the world
something that they like outside of work, even if it's something. I don't know, it could be a design type thing. It doesn't even need to be a creative side thing. You could be proper interested in some sort of finance type thing, but it can be absolutely anything. There's very few people who are literally just so narrow-minded that they're kind of like, they don't have any other interest whatsoever. And you just got to find a way of kind of like shining that light, and people like us and the people locked in listening to us. We're here to keep shining the light, shining the sunshine.
We're shining the light, bro. Exact. Yeah, I couldn't put it by myself, man. So on that note, should we wish everyone like a happy Tuesday? Is it
happy
Tuesday?
rest of the 32 minutes of Tuesday, or wherever you're listening. Actually, you could be listening anywhere. It could only just be
Tuesday's nearly over. Tuesday's not.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know where we've got. We need to find out where people listen from. We should do a look at the analytics actually, because maybe we got some global. I'm sure we've got some global fans as well, global listeners as well.
All sorts on my website, God. I don't know what.
Wherever you are, have a great day, have a great one, and cheers for tuning in. And we'll be back soon.
Yeah, and I would just say God bless everyone. And we keep tumbling. And what did you say, Future Shock? Find the light? Was that?
Keep shining the sunshine. Keep shining the light. Keep shining your light.
Yeah, man. And listen, it's summertime in this country and in the North Hemisphere, so no excuse not to be happy, So let's go, man. We're going to say goodnight, and that's it. And we'll end, and we'll play the music, and see you next time. And what time will be next time, Future Shock?
We will put an announcement up on the socials, so look out for that. We'll figure that out, and we'll go from there.
We potentially the weekend, or I'm not sure about the Sunday though. I don't know. Sunday's a funny time for a stream, isn't it? I don't know, man.
Well, let's put it this way:
they're roast chicken, aren't they?
We've done 2 Tuesday shows in a row, and we've had by far our best numbers doing.
Yeah, Tuesday's a good day, man. Yeah.
And they've both been probably 2 of our best shows as well. So it seems like today or Wednesday, we could maybe move it around, see if the numbers change versus a Thursday or something like that. But yeah,
I bet Friday would be a cracker though. I bet Friday night would be a good one.
Friday would be good, yeah. But we'll figure that out anyway.
All right, watch this space. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Cheers. Hey, we've got the highest ever views, live viewers. That's pretty cool. You've seen the numbers.
Yeah,
We've got the highest ever now. All right. On that note, with that score, we'll say good night. Okay. So, ciao. Good night, everyone. God bless you all, and keep shining.
See you later.